with the support of President Trump is to achieve a complete drawdown and end this surge as soon as we can.
A family in Minnesota is reunited after their parents were taken by ICE on the way to work. CBS News Minnesota's Susan Elizabeth Littlefield.
For this tight family, even happiness is complicated.
I'm confused just because, angry because I feel like this was so wrong and the way they went about it was so wrong.
The couple was pulled over in Inver Grove Heights 3 weeks ago on their way to work. They own a custodial company. Cecilia says that they had their papers proving they were in the process of becoming residents. They did not have criminal records.
The Supreme Court allows California to use a new voter-approved congressional map that is favorable to Democrats in this year's elections, rejecting a last-ditch plea from state Republicans and the Trump administration. It's life in prison for 60-year-old Ryan Ruth, the man who tried to assassinate President Trump at a Florida golf course. Defense attorney Martin Roth plans to appeal.
I think the judge may have mistakenly applied the federal crime of terrorism enhancement, and that will be probably the leading issue on appeal.
President Trump has spoken to Savannah Guthrie about the disappearance of her mother, Nancy. CBS's Andres Gutierrez is in Tucson with the latest on the investigation.
The Pima County Sheriff posted on social media this morning that they have not identified a suspect or a person of interest, and detectives are still working to verify who may have had any contact with Nancy Guthrie before she disappeared.
The Washington Post is laying off a third of its workers. CBS's Cammie McCormick reports.
The Post is laying off employees across all departments, scaling back foreign coverage and shutting down some sections of the newspaper. Executive editor Matt Murray announced the layoffs during a Zoom call with employees, and in a letter to the newsroom shared with CBS News, he said the restructuring plans are intended to place the Post on stronger footing in an environment of rapidly changing technology and user habits.
Tens of thousands of people in Mississippi and Tennessee have been without electricity for a week and a half. CBS's Katie Weiss is in Oxford, Mississippi.
Crews working around the clock to get the light and heat back on, working to hang new lines that have fallen from all of those downed trees that were weighted by the heavy accumulation of ice last week during that historic ice storm.
Stocks are mixed on Wall Street. The Dow is up 322 points. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to CBS Mornings on the go on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're going to go live to the King County Courthouse where a hate crime trial is just getting underway. Details on that coming right up. But first, we say hello to Lori over there at the KIRO Newsradio Traffic Desk. Hi, Lori.
Hello there. Traffic is brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. There was a brief opening of the first South Bridge. I'm not seeing much of a slowdown after that. Seattle to Everett right now, 32 minutes. Bellevue to Linwood is a 16-minute drive. If you're heading from Seattle to Federal Way, expect a 4-minute slowdown. And Federal Way to Tacoma running about 9 minutes. I-90, though, is a bit jammed up right there at 405 in both directions. Not hearing of any report of anything, but definitely a little slow just as you approach 405. It's home show season. Lake Washington Windows and Doors is giving you 20% off, plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Visit them at the home shows or lakewashingtonwindows.com. I'm Lori, KIRO Real-Time Traffic.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Trial getting underway today for a man charged with a hate crime for allegedly attacking a transgender woman in the U District last March. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch is following the case of 39-year-old Andre Philip Carlo and joins us live from the King County Courthouse. James?
Nate, prosecutors alerted Judge Jim Rogers early this morning to a jail phone call between the defendant, Andre Carlo, and an unknown person that took place from the King County Jail last night. It was a 24-minute phone call, but prosecutors focused on only 5 minutes, in which Carlo allegedly said, quote, "If I didn't hate trans people before, I do now, absolutely. I think Trump should kill them, get them out of here." He went on to say, "I'm pissed, and you know I'm pissed," end quote. The question now is the phone call admissible? We will find out when court resumes at 1 this afternoon. We expect opening statements sometime later today. Live at the King County Courthouse in Seattle, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Thanks, James. Melinda Gates is speaking out after newly released Epstein files included references to her ex-husband, Bill Gates, in a clip from NPR's Wild Card podcast. She said seeing his name in the documents stirred up difficult memories.
But I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away, and I moved on.
Bill Gates tells Australia's 9 News.
The focus was always he knew a lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to global health. You know, in retrospect, that was a dead end, and I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him.
A homicide investigation is underway in Tacoma. A person was found with gunshot wounds near South 11th and South I Street just before 5 a.m. The victim died at the hospital. Officer Shelby Boyd says another person was found dead just a block away on Sunday. At this point, police have not released any suspect information. Caribbean chain restaurant Bahama Breeze is closing all 28 of its locations, including the one in Tukwila. The Seattle Times reports the chain's owner will convert about half of them into other brands that it owns already, like Olive Garden or Yard House, but that will not be the case in Tukwila. A drone intrusion prompted a response Tuesday at Naval Air Station Whidbey Island. KIRO 7 reports the drone was spotted near Alt Field just after 1 p.m. Defense Systems detected the aircraft and disabled it, triggering a security response on base. Explosive ordnance disposal teams later confirmed the drone did not contain explosives or even pose a threat. Officials have not said who was operating the drone or where it came from. The Navy says more details will be released when they become available. Your KIRO News Radio weather. Clouds are thinning out, and we can expect partly sunny afternoon with a high around 60. Same forecast for tomorrow. Friday, a few more clouds will stick around. It looks like we've got rain for the weekend. We're at 55 and partly cloudy in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday, right?
Wednesday, buddy. Hump day.
It's Wednesday.
Yep.
Happy Hump Day. Jake Skorheim here, Spike O'Neill sitting right there in a very cool Super Bowl sweatshirt.
Thank you.
That's from New York.
That's Super Bowl 48 in New York. Yeah. This might have been the most creative logo.
Design.
Yeah. For you folks who are watching YouTube, you can see this better. When the Hawks played the Broncos in New York City, actually in the Meadowlands, MetLife, one of the logos that they came up with, the NFL came up with, was the Statue of Liberty signaling touchdown.
Can you stand up so they can see the whole thing?
You bet.
That's just cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a sweet sweatshirt. Who makes that?
That's a Nike. It's official
Nike.
NFL.
Yeah, they
got
know
the
what
Super
they're
Bowl
doing.
48 logo up here for you.
It's just a cool concept. The colors, everything are great.
It's got that oxidized, statue copper. Was bronze?
When you first got it, was it nice and bronze? And now it's
yes, it's aged
that
as
would
I
be
have.
really
That'd
cool.
be great.
Do you remember those shirts? We'll get into actual news here in a second. But do you remember those shirts, those Dayglow shirts that they used to have?
Sure.
Where they would change color based on heat and things.
Yeah, you bet.
They should do that with that.
Cool.
Wouldn't that be
That would be
sweet?
pretty great.
I mean, it's kind of an extra that's unnecessary.
It was funny. This was the era where they the logo kind of went. Used to be that every year had a different Super Bowl logo. Remember the good old days? It was styled to represent the city where the team was playing, and they still do that to a degree. I mean, this has the MetLife. This logo in 48 had the MetLife, and this year's has the Bay Bridge and some Northern California pines, woven into the logo. There's a lot of various. I don't know if the color representation is for the Bay Area, for the sunsets of the Bay Area, for whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure about why they chose those colors. But for a while they went with that silver NFL around the 50th anniversary, very corporate, because they always have the Lombardi and the NFL. Roman numerals. It's about the money. It's about that money, making them money.
Yeah, it's about the money. Speaking of the NFL, we're going to get to other stuff in just a second. But I've been feeling very confident about the Super Bowl.
Sure, you got a great team going on.
Got a great team. All the defense is obviously phenomenal and all that stuff.
Hey, man,
offense is pretty good too.
Pretty good team, yeah.
Pretty good team all around. And then I was remembering That's probably how the Broncos felt
in 48,
going into 48.
Yeah.
And they just got annihilated by the Seahawks. And I just, pride goes before fall. And I just felt like, hey, we need to just take a beat. I don't think the players are doing this. Obviously, these guys are rearing to go.
I would agree with that.
But we as fans, to the extent that we contribute on the field, which again is,
it's funny you bring that up. It's funny you bring that up. We kind of do.
What do you mean with the cheering?
Yes. And when I was at MetLife, when I was at Super Bowl 48, that was a home crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the national broadcast commentators were saying
it's going to be the same at Santa Clara.
I have the same feeling.
Yeah, I think so.
That the ticket market is being gobbled up by Seahawk fans. More so, I think. I mean, we'll see when the game starts. More so than Patriot fans coming across the country.
Yeah, it's a long drive for them. It's a shorter drive for us.
It's a very long flight.
Also,
for them.
we think that if we get down there, we're going to witness greatness and we're going to win.
Yes,
it feels good to pay a lot of money if they win.
Yes.
It feels bad to pay a lot of money if they lose. If you're a Patriots fan,
yeah.
I mean, I know you're supporting your team, but
you're
really thinking that they're going to win?
We're more than a field goal favorite. And the thing, it's still 4.5.
Yeah,
and those guys who set those lines, man, they
know what they're doing.
They do. They dial it in, don't they?
It's their business.
Yep. They don't. That's why Vegas keeps the lights on. They used to say, right? They don't do it by losing money.
We're going to talk with Luke Ducey in just a little bit. He's got a couple more Seahawks stories, related stories, including how to get into the game, like the cheapest way possible with tickets and stuff, which is really interesting.
There's a strategy
to it. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. He's going to join us in about 20 minutes or so. Okay, we got to start off with this weather. This is wild. Okay, so one of my favorite things to do in life, Spike, you and I think we're similar in this way because we're both over the age of 40. We check our weather apps a lot. I'm just checking it all the time. It's actually one of my most visited apps on my phone. It shows you which ones you spend the most time doing. Weather's always in my top 3.
Nice.
Late at night when I'm laying in bed and my wife's already fallen asleep, I'll sneak my phone. Sometimes I'll sneak my phone out of this. And I usually keep it on airplane mode, but when I'm sure that she's asleep, I'll reach over under the side table.
You doing some scrolling?
I'll take it off airplane mode, and I'll check the forecast. And then I'll go back to bed.
Let me ask you this: do you just do it locally?
No.
Do you? Okay, that's when you know you may have a problem.
No, I don't just stick to local forecasts.
Where are you checking in on?
I'm into international forecasts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
I like kind of exotic. Like when I'm cruising around on my phone, I kind of like exotic forecasts.
Fair enough.
Towns that I have visited or I could possibly visit in the next 6 months.
You're not alone. I do the same thing.
What's your list?
Pull
up your phone right now. I'll read you my list of towns.
Okay, great. I'll do mine. This is great.
All right, here's my list of towns. Here's my.
You want to go back and forth? We'll trade off.
Yeah, sure. You start with Seattle because we work here.
Sure. Yeah,
so
it's relevant to our life. Absolutely.
And then my next one is Los Angeles because I do find myself down there from time to time.
Okay.
Especially when I was actually looking up the temperature in Los Angeles. I was going down there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much anymore. What's your second?
Ocean City, Maryland.
Well, that's hometown for you.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So you like to check in and find out.
Yeah. One of my most populated social media feeds is like camera live shots from the boardwalk.
Live shots, Ocean City.
It's like 2 a.m. and 6
your
degrees.
Wife's asleep.
And I'm back there. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's 6 degrees out. It's middle of February, and I'm looking at the boardwalk.
There you go.
It's just right. It's cloudy today. High of 36.
I have another one here. Port Hadlock, Irondale. My in-laws are out there, and we're constantly going out there on the weekends.
On the peninsula, Port Hadlock. Okay.
Yeah. Port Hadlock.
The weather gets
by Port Townsend.
Yeah.
And so we check the weather a lot out there because we're out there all the time, and we got to figure out if you're wearing a jacket.
Yeah.
If I'm wearing an Eddie Bauer jacket, we'll get into that in just a second. Good luck finding one of those.
My next is Dublin, Ireland.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why? Is it just because you went there once?
I've been there 7 times. I've been to Ireland 7 times, and I love it. I could live there easily.
Ours are very different.
It's funny. I checked the weather when I was in Dublin. You know this one, right? There's a stone hanging on a chain.
Yeah.
If the stone is dry, it's not raining. If the stone is wet, it's raining. If the stone is going sideways, it's windy.
That's how they tell.
Right. That's the weather forecast in Ireland.
That's hilarious. I'll give you my last one here. Anaconda, which is in Montana.
Oh, I thought you meant like down in the rainforest.
No,
Brazil.
although they. Did you ever see the movie Anaconda?
Sure.
With I think Jennifer Lopez and somebody else was in it. I didn't care at the time. I only cared about Jennifer Lopez.
Cube was in that, right? Yeah, Cube was in that.
I didn't see anyone else in the movie. I just saw her and a snake. But
Both were in the same tight-fitting clothing, too, ironically enough.
Both were in snakeskin.
They both look good wet. It was great.
They just remade that movie with... Did you see it?
Not yet, but it's Jack Black, right?
It's so funny.
Steve Zahn.
It's Jack Black. I think Steve Zahn's in it.
I think so.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, yeah.
Who's just...
Ageless. Ageless, right?
It's very funny.
That guy's 75 years old. Did you know that?
Looks good. All right, should we get back to life?
Sure.
Some real thing?
Sure.
We're done checking weather?
61 degrees. This is relevant.
Super hot.
61 degrees today.
Record high for Tuesday. 63 degrees was in 1992. And all this week, we're getting like record temperatures, mid-60s. I went out last night. It was trash night for me last night. I had to take the trash out. I did it in a T-shirt. Just walked it down.
Isn't that crazy?
It was wild. And I was like, I could be outside for more than 5 minutes if I wanted to. I didn't, but I could.
2 weeks ago, we had like freezing. Well, it was cold, right? Morning flight, go to work, frost on the building tops in the morning.
In 2009, 63 degrees was the high. In 1987, 62, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we never get above about 64, but that's very hot. That's very cold.
It's February.
It's a dead middle of winter.
Yeah.
Is it possible we're just not going to have any snow this year? My kids have been saying, we're not going to get any snow. And I keep encouraging them. We're going to get snow. We're going to get snow.
There's a piece in the Times this morning about the long, miserable, very dry Northwest ski season.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, we got the atmosphere. We had like a dump of snow, a nice dump of base snow.
Was it right after?
Before the atmospheric rivers.
But that storm really screwed us up.
Washed the mountains clean and washed out the roads leading to most of the ski areas, at least up in the Stevens Pass.
Not that there's any reason to be up there right now.
Right. And now it's more grass. They're using snowmaking machines up at the a lot of the
those poor
resorts.
Exhausted snowmaking machines.
It's one man.
It's just one guy.
Vern. Ironically enough, Vern.
Just turning a thing. This old-fashioned snow cone maker.
You know what? What flavor you want on it? When we were when I was back east, that was all the snow they got at the ski areas in the Mid-Atlantic was snowmakers.
Really?
Artificial snow.
That's a shame.
They pop them out there in the mornings and get they spray of water, and they make snow, then they groom it in, then you can ski on ice. That's what East Coast skiing was, all ice.
Yeah. It's no fun.
No.
I don't like it. All right, well, speaking of crazy weather, there's a new bill, which you guys should know about. This is interesting, I think. House Bill 2251, which concerns CCA, Climate Commitment Act spending. So Todd Myers, who we had on the show recently, wasn't Todd the guy who broke that big story about the amount of money that they claimed?
How much good they were doing.
How much good they were doing with the $1.5 billion of the $4 billion that they've collected, but the $1.5 billion that they've actually spent.
It was the Washington Policy Center that broke the error in the numbers from the state of Washington.
Yeah.
Todd came on and talked to us about it directly here on the show. You know, they represented a 40% decrease in carbon emissions, essentially taking 40% of the cars off the road.
That's what they're
gas
claim.
And diesel burning cars. That was the numbers that the Washington State Climate Commission or whoever it was, the environmental agency,
ecology,
Washington Bureau of Ecology. Well, the fact that they only got it wrong by a multiple of 10. I don't mind getting their name a little confused.
Yeah,
they ended up having a 4% decrease, not a 40% decrease.
Which is a big difference.
Yeah, and the fact that nobody saw that number when it was being printed into leaflets and PowerPoint presentations.
These so-called experts.
Right.
Nobody went,
to take their victory lap.
Yeah.
Multiple victory laps throughout the media to say 40%.
Sure.
It took somebody at the Washington Policy Center to say,
it took
it
took a cynic, which is important to be a cynic sometimes. It took a cynic who looked at it and went, hey, you know what? That doesn't look right. Because there were other media outlets who printed up everything that they were saying, said, look at this, it's the best thing in the world.
Who
it's
had
amazing.
any idea they were this successful?
Yeah.
It's almost unbelievable.
It's almost, and it was, because it was unbelievable. Yeah. So this is what he has to say about this new bill, which is interesting. This basically, he says, the result is that this spending would be based on politics and less on effectiveness and measurable results. This is from Todd Myers of the Washington Policy Center.
And this is the bill that's going to allow them to spend that money
wherever they please.
Wherever they please. Not to. That was the thing about this CCA. Was supposed to be dedicated to eliminating the causes.
They were going to fight. They were going to stop climate
contributing
change.
factors to mitigate the mitigating or the contributing factors and the results of climate change or climate change. Yeah, climate change. It's not. What they used to call it that they stopped calling it.
They called it
global warming.
Global warming. That's right. Yeah, global warming.
They went, that's not as interesting.
Yeah, because in February global warming works. In August, global.
Yeah.
But we are this extreme
it's a
weather.
marketing campaign. They're still working on the marketing.
From the people who brought you defund the police and global warming, and New Coke. They also were behind New Coke, by the way.
Which you think was a conspiracy.
Absolutely. To
You think
sell
that was
old
just-
Coke.
yeah.
You bet. As people spit it out, get me an old Coke.
I wish that's what they were doing. I wish the CCA was doing something like you're alleging they did. Because number one, Coca-Cola is a for-profit company, and they figure out how to make money instead of just suck other people's money away, which is what the CCA does. And Coke is a pretty good product if you like Coca-Cola. There's people who love it.
They do, but how many times do you say Coke is great? Have a Coke and a smile.
They had to,
Teach
and
the
then they
world to
say
sing.
classic Coke.
And now we get to say, we heard you.
Yeah.
We listened to you. You matter.
I wish somebody would say that in government. We heard you and we're listening to you. They have not learned those words yet.
We're going to get rid of new gas. Bring back classic gas.
We want classic
gas. 50 cents cheaper than new gas.
Let's call
we
it
heard you, Washington.
classical gas.
Right? we hear you.
That's already taken? Shoot. So what they're going to do in this bill, if it passes, is basically it takes away the guardrails and how they spend this money, which again, like you said, were initially...
Which is how it was pitched to us, sold to us as a voting population.
Stuff in the air.
Right.
And then now they're saying, well, since we can't quantify what that actually is or how it's being solved, what if we just spend it wherever we feel like we need to spend the money?
Right.
Which is now just a horrible new tax. I mean, it's a horrible tax to begin with.
Sure.
But now it's a horrible tax that doesn't even have any...
It's not why we're being taxed.
Yeah, but they're selling it to us as one thing and they're doing something completely different. So that's not a good thing.
That's like saying, we're going to sell you fire extinguishers, right? And then when you spray them, they're just air fresheners now. We're going to make them air fresheners instead. I know you spent that money for fire extinguishers.
But it's not going to stop any fires.
It's not going to stop any fires because we feel better suited. The state needs more air fresheners.
Yes.
We're just going to use that fire extinguisher money and fill these up with fragrance.
So you're still going to have fires?
Yeah,
But we still want your money.
But we're still going to take your fire extinguisher money, but it's not going to fight fires.
If they pass this and they can spend the money wherever they want, don't you think that they should just stop collecting the money? I mean, wouldn't that be better if they just stopped collecting the money?
I don't know. Yes.
If the justification is, if they actually cared so much about what they say they care about, which is,
how about
climate, whatever.
How about this? How about moving forward? Let's take how much they're taking from us, right, as a 100% number. And if they spend 20% of it on fighting climate change, next time they only get to take 20% of that instead of the full 100. You follow my logic here?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If they're going to spend 80% of that CCA money on general fund stuff, then they forfeit the right to take 80% of that money. They have to knock that down.
Here's the interesting thing, though. According to the numbers, that would actually be a 100% increase in how they're actually spending the money. Because right now, 90% of it goes to administrative stuff.
Yeah.
And just bureaucratic gobbledygook. And that would actually be a huge increase in trying to fight whatever they're trying to fight.
Well, you and I have had this conversation before. When you say about the 10%, that's actually reducing the amount of carbon in the air, right?
The rest of it's like paying people to.
Well, it's not just letterheads. It's not
sending emails back and forth.
Cooling the office down to 68 degrees because it's warm outside. Which
I guarantee you a big chunk of that is.
I'll give you one good example that I saw that I know is resulting money from the CCA, right? Mm-hmm. If you drive through Eastern Washington, we're talking about the passes. We go over Blewett Pass on the way to whether it's Wenatchee or if you're going to take a left and go to Leavenworth or going to go out to Lake Chelan. Mm-hmm. As you come down that valley on the eastern side of Blewett Pass,
beautiful country.
Beautiful. And what you will see is all brand new metal roofs on every home, every barn, every carport, all paid for by the state, funded by the state. This is direct result from wildfires, which were causing massive home fires and property damage. And because wildfires are now a more frequent contingent for the state to have to deal with, more frequent problem, they invested money in putting metal roofs on all those homes. That's money that came out of the CCA. Mm-hmm. And it's directly being used because of the impacts of carbon and climate and the whole bit. See, it doesn't reduce the pollution in the air, but it is money that's being used for, I think, what it was intended for, to mitigate the effects of.
I hear what you're saying.
Right?
And
there are quite a few examples like that. So
I would rather they not take people's money and just kind of come up with areas to spend it, even if it's on roofs. But I'm a different kind of guy.
Hey.
And,
you're
different strokes for different folks.
You're a bootstraps kind of guy.
I'm not wearing boots right now, but yeah.
It's a metaphor.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. But it is a good example. That would be one area, but I'll bet you that's such a tiny sliver.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
But I'll give you that one. That's a fair one.
Thanks.
That's a fair one. All right, we got Luke Ducey coming up next. He's got some Seahawks stories. There's a couple who's going through some really tough times, and they have had the Seahawks to distract from. And I mean, man, how many stories could we tell about people who are able to focus on such a glimmer of hope like the Seahawks, and like what a joy they are bringing to people right now, which is a lot
absolutely
of fun.
how it binds a community together, moves people, lifts people. Yeah.
And then he's got another story too, Seahawks world, where tickets to the Super Bowl, like how much are they? How can you get in? Like, is there a cheap way to get in? Because all I hear about is it's beyond like thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, Luke's got all of that coming up next. Stick around. Be right back.
Since the beginning, 50 years ago, KIRO has been the only place where the 12s have listened to the Seahawks.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks. Steve Rabel made the catch.
And Sunday, the tradition continues.
The Seahawks are going back to the Super Bowl.
When Steve Rabel and Dave Wyman bring you the call of Super Bowl 60 between the Seahawks and the Patriots. And like every other Seahawks game, the only place you'll hear it is KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Shop now for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
For nearly 50 years, over 90,000 homeowners have trusted Home Comfort Alliance, including me. John Curley here. Save up to $2,000 on a new Lennox heating and cooling system. Schedule your free consultation at HomeComfortAlliance.com. Call the comfort people at Home Comfort Alliance.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into video only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
It's home show season. To celebrate, Lake Washington Windows and Doors is giving you 20% off and a lifetime installation warranty, plus 12 months to pay with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest financing. See us at the home shows or visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Authorities in Thurston County executed a high-risk search warrant early this morning, deploying SWAT to a residence on Durgan Road Southeast. According to the Thurston County Sheriff's Office, the operation was in response to repeated criminal activity in the area. Updates on arrests or additional statements from law enforcement are expected later today. Seattle's police chief is asking for the public's help after 3 young people were shot and killed in 48 hours. KIRO News Radio's Amanda Factor has more.
Chief Sean Barnes says detectives are working all 3 cases now, and he's urging anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers.
It could be the missing piece to a very, very big puzzle.
On the G and Ursula show, Barnes also had a message for gun owners.
Do not leave your weapons in your car. Last year, we had 206 firearms stolen from motor vehicles.
He says those weapons often end up in the hands of young people. He's also calling for the return of school resource officers to Seattle campuses. The chief made the comments while talking about a nearly 20% drop in overall crime last year. Amanda Factor, KIRO News Radio.
2 teenagers killed near Rainier Beach High School. Another young person was killed in Pioneer Square's sinking ship parking garage. New census data shows a wide gap between the richest and the poorest neighborhoods in King County. Seattle Times columnist Gene Bach reports 20 census tracts now have a median household income above $250,000 a year. Most are on the east side, places like Medina, Bellevue, and Mercer Island, but 2 are in Seattle, Laurelhurst, and Montlake. At the other end, 13 neighborhoods have median incomes below $50,000. 7 are in the U District, where students skew those numbers, but 4 other low-income tracts are in Pioneer Square, the Chinatown International District, Bitter Lake, and Northgate. Pioneer Square had the lowest median income outside the U District at around $35,000. Seahawks gear is flying off store shelves as the Super Bowl draws closer. Demand has surged so much that Fanatics, the NFL's main merchandise supplier, issued an apology to fans struggling to find what they're looking for. KIRO 7 spoke with local jersey shops where employees say they're doing everything they can to keep shelves stocked.
Everybody's up wanting everything, and we're just doing the best we can. I was like, we might be a little short on items, but we tell our customers, hey, come back 2-3 days, we're going to have it for you.
Fanatics say it's shipping in more team-colored jerseys daily and offering alternate options in the meantime. Now let's check out your KIRO News Radio traffic, and that's when we turn it over to Lori. Hi, Lori.
Hello there. Hey, if you're heading from Seattle to Bellevue on I-90, there's an accident at Island Crestway. It looks like it's right in the center lane, causing about a 3-minute holdup. Also, you're jammed up on I-90, both directions, right there at 405. Seattle to Redmond now taking you 17 minutes. Seattle to Linwood, a 23-minute trip. Bellevue to Everett running about 25 minutes. And Seattle to Federal Way, just 8 minutes slowdown. I'm Lori, KIRO Real-Time Traffic.
Thank you, Lori. Your KIRO News Radio weather. Clouds are slowly thinning out, and we should see some sun this afternoon and a warm one, high near 60. About the same forecast tomorrow. Our overnight lows will drop to around 40, and looks like we've got rain for the weekend. Mostly cloudy and 57 right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. We are very pleased to welcome KIRO News Radio reporter Luke Ducey, who joins us mere hours before you fly down to Santa Clara. Is that right?
Tomorrow. Well, yes, but I leave tomorrow.
You leave tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, are you driving? Or are you flying?
Oh, flying.
You're flying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But
be a
tickets
long drive.
for flying, my gosh,
pretty expensive
for a 2-hour flight.
I assume they're adding extra flights, right?
Oh, a ton.
Yeah.
I think Alaska added 18 additional direct flights from Seattle to the Bay Area to accommodate Seahawk fans going down.
Delta,
Our point earlier about the fans overtaking the Bay Area.
Yeah, it's definitely feels like
it's a blue wave.
Seattle South. Yeah, for sure. All right, we're gonna get to how people are getting into the game just a little bit, how they're trying to find a cheaper way in than the tickets that I've been seeing online. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Let's start with a very would you call this story bittersweet? Or just Spike said it was. Spike was talking about this earlier. Said you're going to get emotional, Jake, when we talk about this with Luke.
How can you not? When Luke's got the story, there's a great story on As My Northwest that gives all the details. But Luke, you got to meet a couple whose life is just given. They're throwing them every curveball possible and every setback you can. It's unimaginable.
But they have this silver lining to the gray cloud, which is the Seahawks right now, which a lot of people have. Tell us a bit about this.
Yeah, I would say, sometimes it's how you look at life, in the midst of it. I recently met Patrick Tafoya. He's a lifelong Seahawks fan who lives down near Astoria, Oregon. He and his wife have been through about as much as anyone should go through. Last year, numbness in Patrick's hands and his fingers led to surgery to replace the discs in his neck, which kickstarted a lengthy recovery, which still continues today. Then his wife, Maria, was taken to a hospital and diagnosed with congestive heart failure and diabetes. She's doing much better, Patrick tells me, but she's still in that hospital. And if that's not enough, just weeks ago, Patrick was diagnosed with stage 3 prostate cancer.
It was surreal. I didn't want to believe it. Every sample that they took showed cancer.
Yeah, and he was on the phone with his wife during that time when that diagnosis took place. And as he was talking with the doctor, it became real. It became real to him that it's stage 3. It's serious. This is something that runs in his family. But just on top of everything that he had gone through already, Patrick, by the way, just emailed me a photo of him from this morning. So he's going through a procedure right now this morning to implant devices to help with his radiation therapy later on. Radiation treatment is going to start after the Super Bowl. Watching the Seahawks, though, has been a real ray of light for Patrick and his wife in what has otherwise been a very dark place for them. He kind of explained to me why a little bit.
It was always a relief to watch a Seahawks game, just to leave our trouble behind for a few hours.
Yeah, just a few hours, just a few hours, a break from it all. Jake Bobo is one of his favorite players, he told me, and before we signed off over that phone call that I had with him, he had a message for the team, and he's hoping that the Seahawks hear him.
Just go down to San Francisco and make that Lewin Field South. And love you guys, and bring the Super Bowl back to us folks up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, game's going to mean a little bit more to him, I think, than a lot of people.
It's really sweet, too, when you think about some of my core memories that I have in the past decade or plus have been around sporting events. They're just like these bright, shining moments where it's usually with family. I mean, I'm thinking about the Super Bowl that we won.
Right.
I try to block out the one we lost, but the Super Bowl that we won, all those Sunday afternoons and sometimes Thursday nights or whatever it was, gathering together as a family. And those are the moments that you're going to look back at the end of life. You're not going to wish you'd spent more time looking at your stupid phone or, arguing about stupid stuff in the news. You're going to be like, oh, man, these moments where we get to spend with the people that we're blessed to have in our lives and that we love and get to have these memories with, that's the thing that means so much. And so, like, for, Patrick and his wife to get to have that right now with the Seahawks, I mean, that's a gift that they're giving to these people because the Seahawks are a great team. The season could have been over a lot earlier.
They
but
could be Browns fans.
They could be.
Not to be piling on misery, but they could be Browns fans.
Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely.
And you talk about the shared memories, shared experiences with family, but I'll go even broader, the community of 12s that this city brings together. I'm sure that Patrick, when he's going to his treatments, he sees people in the hallways, in the offices, in the operating or the treatment rooms,
Go Hawks.
Sure.
Somebody with a blue cap on, somebody with a 12 on, everywhere you go.
You're all part of the same team.
Exactly. And that's what sports does for a city. People always, you hear the debates about whether cities should fund these billionaire owners and their playgrounds and the blah, 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 blah. But when you have stories about how much income was generated for the businesses downtown in Seattle for those 2 playoff games that we hosted.
Sure.
How much money that the American League playoff runs brought in with the Mariners to the downtown corridor. Not just financial benefits, but community benefits where we all have a common bright spot in our world these days. Like you said, Luke, these are tough times for a lot of people. I mean, the DeFoyas are going through beyond their fair share of challenges. And when moments like these come along, and they're rare, come along with what sports brings to a city and a community and a fan base. I'm getting a little verklempt here. I hope that the DeFoyas know how many 12s out there hear their story and are right there with them, and cheering them on and rooting for them and praying for them.
Yeah.
That's
Patrick and his wife.
That's what
if you guys
Maria.
are listening.
Is that Maria?
Maria, yeah. They emailed us and they said, hey, they commented on a story and then shared just a little bit about their life, and then that email was sent to me. Hey, Luke, you might want to contact them. And there's always that awkward moment about the first initial conversation because you want to meet them and you want to tell their story, but you don't want to be as a reporter saying, hey, I want to tell your story because we think it's going to get
Or we want to take advantage of your moment of misery.
But then paradigm shift, then you look at it after speaking with someone like Patrick, looking at through life and what's going on through his lens as he shares this. And, he wanted us to tell his stories. He sent us all the photos of his recovery and what he's going through. Him in a hospital bed this morning, he sent me a photo because he wants people to know that, not that, look at me, I'm going through such horrible things, but that perhaps the other way around, that life is precious and it's great and it's fantastic and we should look forward to these wonderful moments, like you said, Jake, that, being together.
I haven't talked about this much. I mean, it's a private matter, but I can tell a little bit about it just because we're talking about this story. But one of my very, very dear friends, he's basically like a brother to me, he's going through a very difficult cancer fight right now. And the grace, and it sounds like for Patrick and his wife as well, like the grace that they are handling these situations with, you just admire these people so much. And when I'm talking with him, this is my buddy I'm speaking about here, he gets asked about his cancer fight all the time. He doesn't want to focus on that. So what is the thing that me and him are talking about? Like, we're texting each other about Seahawks. And we're calling each other and we're talking about the dark side. We're talking about what it's going to be like this weekend. Like, is this the most dominant? It's just connecting with somebody as they're going through a really tough time. And it also does highlight, just like maybe Patrick was hoping, and I think it does. I think it actually does work for people out there who, we all have problems.
Yep.
But we don't have those level problems. And it's a good reminder that life is pretty good.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that people can go around and complain about that just mean nothing when compared to what people are actually fighting out there.
And like Patrick said, too, this is the pleasant distraction to have your mind on something else than your troubles for a few hours.
Yeah.
Or a couple weeks building up to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Welcome relief.
Well, we're all thinking about them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Patrick and your wife, we're praying for you. My buddy, too. Praying for you, bud.
Yeah, man.
All right. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We will be... You guys want to talk about, this is a funny transition, but you want to talk about the Muppets when we get back?
Can we talk to them about how to get into, well, can we talk to...
Oh, you want to talk about...
Can you hang about how to get into a Super Bowl?
You want to talk with this Muppet?
Yeah.
That's okay.
I've been
called worse.
You'd be a great Muppet. You would be a great Muppet.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk about the
cheap tickets. How to get to the game on the cheap.
We'll also talk about Muppets.
Sure.
Thank you. We'll talk about tickets and Muppets. All right, we'll be right back.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
When the new year hits, every business could use a little something to stay ahead. A lift, a jump start, an edge, or perhaps a boost. Like the all-new 5-year business boost from Comcast Business. It's the certainty of a price lock for 5 years on qualifying internet bundles. Plus, you'll have the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment, so your whole team can stay connected at a great rate. And to sweeten the deal, ask about a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. It's the boost your business deserves. So sign up for the 5-year business boost and get a 5-year price lock on ultra-reliable Wi-Fi. Plus, ask about a $500 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 3/22/26. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees. Best Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Get ready, because it's here. The first huge public online auction of the year from James G. Murphy Company, February 5th through 10 a.m. Thursday, February the 12th. We're stacked and packed with a vast assortment of heavy construction equipment, trucks, trailers, and more, like 17 excavators, 6 dozers, including a 2012 John Deere 700K XLT, 4 wheel loaders, a grader, a 2021 Kenworth T270 propane delivery truck, a 2023 Volvo Auto Transporter, 6 Peterbilt 567 tractors, 6 dump trucks, forklifts, boom lifts, loaders, graders, and utility trucks. But wait, there's more. Like over 100 unused gas-powered excavators, flatbed trucks, and on and on. We are on fire with gear. Preview all items Tuesday and Wednesday, February 10th and 11th at our location in Marysville. Do not miss the first huge public online auction of the new year. Check murphyauction.com for all details. murphyauction.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
It's home show season. To celebrate, Lake Washington Windows and Doors is giving you 20% off and a lifetime installation warranty, plus 12 months to pay with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest financing. See us at the home shows or visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
John Curley here. We value things that last. Local businesses, relationships, community. That's Madrona Financial and CPAs. They've been serving Washington families for decades, combining taxes and investments under one roof. Most firms just do one or the other, but not both. That's why Madrona offers the Madrona Analysis, a simple review of income, taxes, and investments in one plan. Call 833-673-7373 for your complimentary Madrona Analysis. Madrona Financial and CPAs. Local, trusted, and here to put the whole picture together.
All right, welcome back to the show. Luke Ducey, KIRO Newsradio reporter. He's sticking around with us for a few minutes. We're going to talk a little bit about how to get into the Super Bowl on the cheap. Is that even possible these days, Luke?
Well, we've got a 4-step plan. We'll see. I want someone to do this.
4 steps, all right.
Yeah, and figure it out.
Me.
Well, here's the good news. Ticket average prices for tickets have gone down from $9,000 on average to about $5,000.
Well, it's a bargain.
It's a bargain. Try getting one.
That's the market reacting to people's lack of interest at $10,000. No one can afford to go. You drop them. How about $5,000? You know, it's a time-based negotiation at this point.
If we know anything about money and taxes in this state, if you make things more expensive, it's less appealing. And that's what's happening at the Super Bowl.
I was going to say, if you don't spend it on the Super Bowl, the governor's going to take it anyway, so you might as well have a good afternoon. So what are these steps?
You might as well get something out of it.
Get something out of it, right?
Yeah,
they can't tax your memories.
You're right.
We talked to Casey McNerthney. If that name sounds familiar, he's also the spokesperson for the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. He's also a diehard 12. So over the years, he claims he has developed a 4-step process for buying tickets on the cheap. For instance, he paid $20 to witness this great Mariners moment.
Swung on the line, down the left field line for a base hit. Here is Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship.
Edgar's double.
$20 for that?
$20 to get in to see Edgar's double to send the Mariners to the ALCS.
Even in '95, that would have been more than $20.
Also, Casey's first step is to build a time machine.
Step one.
Yeah.
He was a child. Casey was a child. Did he sneak in as a?
He must have been in high school. He was in high school because he told me that he was doing a chocolate drive with chocolate bars. And he and his buddy,
world's best chocolate.
Yeah,
I remember those bars.
And
You
he
betcha.
took the $20 from that, and he said, "I'll pay it back."
Oh my gosh! And this guy works for us.
Chocolate money.
So what's the first step?
Step one: set a cap. Set a cap on the amount of money that you're willing to spend, and don't go over it. Okay, that's step one. Step
I want to go to the Super Bowl for $20.
Step two: you gotta be right outside the stadium. So you can't be around town or whatever. You gotta be right there, so you're in a position to act immediately. So that means you gotta get down to San Francisco or Santa Clara, folks. Step three: do not whatever you do not panic if you don't get a ticket before kickoff.
Don't freak out if the event has already started. There's still time for the prices to go down. And it might take into the first quarter or the second quarter or the third quarter for you to find a ticket.
Maybe even shortly after the fourth quarter, tickets are still available.
Right?
2
minute
minutes
warning.
for $2. Yeah, I'll pay it.
All right, finally, step 4 is you've got to have the attitude that something great is going to happen, that luck is going to come your way, positive
attitude
thoughts.
is everything, yeah.
Because if you follow steps 1, 2, and 3, well, what's the other option? There is no other option.
You go down to San Francisco and you end up just watching the game, on someone's phone outside the stadium. At least that way you still have all the Seahawks fans as they come out that you get to party with.
So the point is, I think if you're in that mindset, we're just going to go, it's going to be an adventure, and he's saying, look, it's like, a 20-hour drive, I've done it before to get down there. Is it 20? It's like, no, it's 10. It's like 15, something like that.
Yeah, it's in Northern California. It's not that bad.
I did it
What
in
am I
12
thinking?
once, no big deal.
Did you really? Ooh, Cannonball
Police
run,
escort
man.
for the back
Cannonball
half.
run.
They're behind him.
That's right. But if you think about it, if you're here in Seattle, an Uber ride, dinner and drinks, and then another Uber, that's like $300, maybe a little bit more. So there's your gas money and your food on a road trip, that's going to be awesome on the way down there.
It's the memories we were talking about earlier. It's the memories you're making.
If someone does this, I want them to call in and email with whatever.
People do this all the time.
Contact us.
People do this for there was stories about people I think, Laura, you did this for a Taylor Swift concert. You just went to go stand outside with people outside,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, when she came to Seattle.
Yeah.
At Lumen Field. I was able to go see her up in Vancouver in Canada.
You got in late. You didn't
a
have
year
tickets.
later.
Yeah.
So you've heard you were there.
What do you mean?
I remember the tape of that one.
What do you mean?
Weren't you a little into your box wine on that evening, if I'm not mistaken?
White Claws.
Okay, White Claw. Okay, fair enough. I don't want to mislabel your beer of choice.
It wasn't that I didn't remember things. It was more that none of the concert footage I took was usable because I was screaming so loudly.
Gotcha. I think fair advice, I guess. I think the attitude part's very important. Also, you could just take a risk, just go down there and have fun.
Sure,
like,
you
it's
never
going to
know.
be a great memory. You're going to have fun. Even if you don't get in, it's the experience about trying to get in. You're going to tell that story. It's actually kind of a better story if you don't get in, if I'm honest.
You know, it's also, that story has evolved. You know, you used to have to be out front because that's where the guys selling tickets were right up front of the stadium. In a digital age, you know, those tickets will come to you. That ticket seller doesn't have to be standing outside the stadium to sell you his ticket. And once the game has started, he's looking at a total loss. They're willing to take less after the game starts. And you're standing outside. Somebody can digitally, sell you a ticket. You walk right in.
Now, one thing I've done at games is you look at seats down lower and lower and lower, and you can kind of figure out, especially if you look at the apps.
You can move.
You can figure out, oh, that's on the app, and it hasn't
You
been
buy
sold yet. It
tickets
hasn't been
in-game?
sold.
Yep.
No, don't buy them.
No.
Just know that no one's purchased them.
Yes.
And so then you go down there and you gotta act the part. Like, yep, those are my seats.
You belong.
And you walk down there.
Yep. Here we are, honey.
50-yard line.
You do.
Is this row D?
Everybody's done that, but there is a nervous factor where you're sitting there watching everybody who walks down the steps. You're like, are they gonna? Oh, thank God they walked
Well,
by.
if you got the thing still hasn't sold, right? If it's still
I guess
available.
now with the app, it helps.
Yeah, you say,
better.
I did not know I couldn't do that.
There you go. All right, that's Luke Ducey. He's heading down tomorrow, so we'll get some more stories from
You
him
got
from
a
Santa
plane
Clara.
ticket though, right? You're not gonna do this at the airport.
I got a plane ticket.
Okay.
No.
We'll get some Muppet stories later,
I
guys.
promise. I know. I promise you we will. But I know it's an important story.
It's important to me.
It is.
All right, we'll be right back. Stick around.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Shop now for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone,
Welcome to AutoZone.
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets the Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's clogged again.
Your drain?
Just had it cleared.
You didn't call Apollo Plumbing.
How can you tell?
Because your drain's clogged again.
So frustrating.
We can clear that drain.
That's what the last guy said.
We'll clear it, guaranteed.
He said that too.
Apollo Plumbing will clear your drain, or it's free.
Wait, what?
Apollo Plumbing clears your drain.
Or it's free?
Yep.
What's the catch?
No catch.
Fine print?
Apollo Plumbing clears your main drain for $83.
$83 or it's free?
And we'll even give you a camera inspection.
Because?
It's the best way to find what's causing your clog.
But that's extra.
Nope. Included.
No extra charge?
Not 1 cent.
$83 or it's free.
All it takes is an accessible outside cleanout.
And an Apollo plumber.
No clog is safe from Apollo Plumbing.
And just like that, my main drain is...
Draining again.
How can you...
Apollo plumbers are that good.
$83 or it's free.
You call, we come.
My drain's draining again.
Guaranteed.
$83 or it's free.
As it should be.
Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
This is what it's all about, right?
We are going to the Super Bowl.
The pure joy.
It's a great time to be alive for Seattle fans.
It's why we're 12s.
Super Bowl, baby, let's go!
And Sunday, when history is written in Super Bowl 60, isn't there only one voice you want to hear tell the story?
The one-hander, JSN.
Wherever you are on Sunday, listen to Steve Rabel call the Seahawks and Patriots in Super Bowl 60, live and free on the KIRO Newsradio app.
Olympic Hot Tub is celebrating Seattle's championship football team and the big game day ahead with a massive blue and green savings blitz. Get champion-level wellness at huge savings. Score big on saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges. Hey, it's Ryan Nolan-Smith. Let's make wellness and feeling terrific part of your everyday game plan. Don't let the clock run out. These winning deals end Sunday. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life. Go Seattle.
An organized home is a happy home and a happy homeowner. John Curley here. Closets by Design made me and my home happy. Experience the quality and backing of a national brand with friendly local Seattle service. From booking the appointment to a free in-home consult to installation day, Closets by Design will leave you wowed and clutter-free. Right now, get up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months financing and free installation. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to schedule today.
Staples has hot deals and low prices on everything for your business, like up to $125 off your print order. Ends 4/18. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. President Trump called Savannah Guthrie today after the disappearance of her mother, Nancy, in Arizona. Meantime, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos tells CBS News the 84-year-old mother ate dinner at her daughter Annie Guthrie's home on Saturday and was driven home by Annie's husband. Nancy Guthrie was reported missing on Sunday. CBS's Andres Gutierrez says of a note received.
If they are able to verify this ransom note, it will be a key piece of evidence. But right now, investigators are being very careful about what they say publicly. The Pima County Sheriff posted on social media this morning that they have not identified a suspect or a person of interest, and detectives are still working to verify who may have had any contact with Nancy Guthrie before she disappeared.
700 federal agents are leaving Minnesota today. Some 2,000 will remain on the ground. Border Czar Tom Homan, who was sent to Minneapolis to run the Trump administration's immigration operation after the deaths of 2 people by federal agents, says those with criminal records are still the focus, but anyone in the country illegally is not off the table.
We're taking a lot of bad people off the street. Everybody should be grateful to that. Who in their right mind would want these dangerous criminals walking around their communities?
For trying to assassinate President Trump while he was on a Florida golf course in 2024, Ryan Ruth will spend the rest of his life in prison. Prosecutors asked for life without parole, saying the 60-year-old has never apologized. CBS's Katrina Kaufman says the judge had firm words for Ruth.
She told him, "Your criminal actions speak for themselves and go against your claims of benevolence. The evil is in you, sir," she said. And she also told him, "You've feigned peacefulness throughout this whole trial, but you are not a good man."
Former Democratic Congressman Lee Hamilton of Indiana has died. His son Doug says the former congressman died peacefully in his home in Bloomington at the age of 94. Hamilton led a congressional probe of the Iran-Contra affair and was at the forefront of congressional opposition to the 1991 Persian Gulf War. CBS's Cammie McCormick with the latest on the U.S.-Iran talks after the deadly crackdown on protesters in Iran.
The talks were to have taken place in Turkey, but Iran now says indirect negotiations will take place in the capital of Oman.
At the end of the day, the United States is prepared to engage and has always been prepared to engage.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
I think in order for talks to actually lead to something meaningful, they will have to include certain things. And that includes the range of their ballistic missiles. That includes their sponsorship of terrorist organizations across the region. That includes the nuclear program, and that includes the treatment of their own people.
Rubio said he's not sure a deal can be reached with the Iranians, but they're prepared to find out.
On Wall Street, the Dow closed up 260 points. NASDAQ fell 351. This is CBS News.
Take control of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Watch with Jill Schlesinger on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Governor Ferguson's reaction to the new millionaire's tax proposal coming up. But first, the KIRO Newsradio traffic desk we go to say hi to Lori.
This traffic is brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. A little bit of a jam up on I-90 right at 405 in both directions. 520 slows as you're heading eastbound, approaching Montlake. Seattle to Everett right now, 34-minute commute. Linwood to Bellevue will take you 16 minutes. And Seattle to Tacoma is a 31-minute drive. It's home show season. Lake Washington Windows and Doors is giving you 20% off, plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Visit them at the home show or lakewashingtonwindows.com. I'm Lori, KIRO, real-time traffic.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Governor Ferguson says state Democrats' new millionaires tax proposal doesn't go far enough, but he says it's a good start.
We agree, for example, that our tax system is upside down. Washington ranks near the bottom for fairness and equality in our tax system.
But he says only 7% of the revenue would go directly back to taxpayers, and he's also pushing for $1 billion in small business tax relief, nearly 10 times what Democratic leaders have proposed. President Trump has signed the bill to end the government shutdown, setting up talks in Congress to limit immigration enforcement. The spending package includes a stopgap measure to fund the Department of Homeland Security. U.S. Senator Patty Murray says if DHS wants any more money, Democrats' demands must be met.
End the roving patrols. Hold federal agents accountable and hold them to the same standards as local law enforcement on the basic things like use of force.
Democrats also want to ban federal agents from wearing masks and require body cameras. The rest of the spending package funds most of the government through September 30th. A case involving contraband at a juvenile facility is now under investigation. The Department of Children, Youth, and Families says a marijuana pen and possible methamphetamines were found at a Green Hill staffer's workstation on Monday. The agency notified the Chehalis Police Department, which is now investigating. That employee is on administrative leave. A Renton bus driver is accused of taking more than $50,000 in workers' comp while secretly working 2 other jobs.
Prosecutors say the 67-year-old claimed he was too injured to work, even as he earned about $33,000 each from King County Metro and We Drive You Seattle. He pleaded not guilty to first-degree theft and faces up to $20,000 in fines and possible prison time if convicted. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Former Seahawks quarterback Matt Hasselbeck has some advice for the team as they head into Super Bowl 60. Bring your A game.
This is the Super Bowl, and you better bring it with everything you got, or you're going to go home feeling. Listen, I lost Super Bowl 40 to a wild card team that people said shouldn't have been there.
Hasselbeck tells G and Ursula it doesn't matter that the Seahawks were the number 1 seed in the NFC. They cannot write off the New England Patriots, who have a great defense and an offense with a lot of upside. Your KIRO News Radio weather. We should see these clouds thin out soon, leaving us with some sun this afternoon. A high near 60. Another nice day tomorrow. Friday, clouds slowly take over, and we have rain in our weekend forecast. 57 and mostly cloudy right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 1 hour down, 2 hours right ahead of us. Tons of great stuff. You're not going to want to miss a second of it. 2 o'clock, we're going to be talking. I'm really interested in this. Spike's got a big smile on his face. What are you smiling about?
I got to turn my mic on. No, we get 2 more hours of this.
Oh, that's what you're smiling about?
Yes.
Oh, great. Great.
It feels like we've been here all day, but it's only been an hour.
What a strange thing to say. Feels like we've been here all day. It's normally the opposite. You want to say time flies when you're having fun. You said it feels like we've been here all day.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's weird. I don't feel like it's dragged. We've had a great first hour.
But we've been here all day.
But we get to do it 2 more. I mean, it's. I don't know. Maybe
that's a lifetime.
Maybe it's
what an eternity of time.
Maybe it's the excitement of the week.
I'm just messing with. I'm just kidding.
I love this job.
It is fun. Super fun job. We do have a lot of stuff.
By the way, the text line just hates me.
Who
hates me?
No,
I'm
they
going to
don't.
point any fingers.
Text line loves you.
Hey, I'm a freak of nature.
No, they love you. We have a ton of stuff we're going to get to, and just a quick look ahead. Jason Ranch is going to join us at 1:30, and we're going to talk a little bit about they've been trying to pass these, like the jock tax and all these different things. They're trying to like take money from people because they don't like people. We're going to talk about that at 1:30 with Jason Rantz. And then at 2 o'clock, this ongoing search for Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mom. Yeah. I took a deep dive into all of the stuff that's going on right now in the search for this. This is out of Arizona.
Yeah.
It's now been 4 days since she was taken, allegedly still. They don't know exactly what happened, but she's still missing. There's DNA evidence in the house.
Being a breaking and entering, a forceful entry, I should say, entrance.
Well, the DNA that I've seen is blood evidence that connects it to her,
right.
But they don't have any other DNA evidence of a would-be intruder who may have taken her. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen. But
No, but I thought I heard earlier in the week, and the story is evolving.
Sure.
And it's changing very rapidly.
Yeah.
But I thought I heard DNA information about like hair that they had found on site. That
they found blood drops that they connected to her.
To her, okay.
But they still don't have DNA, at least that I have seen.
Of
somebody else. But there are just all these really interesting. What do you do now? And like the area where she was found, like we're going to get into all this at 2 o'clock.
Is it Chuck Jordan we've got coming on?
He's a investigator. He searches for people for a living.
Yeah.
And
you can tell us kind of what's going on behind the scenes of the public's. A lot of times the public isn't made aware of ongoing investigative activity because they don't want to tip off.
And they can't
because
they also need to keep some things secret as they should.
Yeah.
Because they want to play close to the vest, but also because at some point they are going to need to confirm things. And the best way to do that is, like, for instance, yesterday, TMZ came out and said, we have a ransom note. We don't know that it's real, but we did have somebody email us with some specifics that at least it looked like have some information about some things at the crime scene that hasn't been released to the public.
That only the perpetrator would know.
That's a way that they could verify. Law enforcement could. Now, I have not heard any further talk of that. The validity of that ransom note.
I haven't either.
Which makes me either believe one of two things. Either they're saying that it's real and they are now
again close to the vest. Yeah.
Yep, keeping that, they're negotiating or whatever they're doing, or it's just a crazy person who wanted to try to be involved or to prank somebody, or which is why maybe they called TMZ. I mean, who knows?
Right. There's my little thrill moment as I got my fake tip on TMZ.
Yeah.
You said something. Yeah, it was Monday maybe. About how do they not have access to all these doorbell cameras and security systems? I read a thing today that the investigators in the case have reached out to everybody in that community, and they're all cooperating.
Sure.
They're all providing information to law enforcement. There's been 1,000 different doorbell cameras accessed and volunteered to this investigation.
And the interesting thing, too, I mean, they're doing everything. They're using phone triangulation with cell phones that may have been, you know how they do that?
Right.
They'll find like a phone will like ping to a nearby tower.
Right, and they can look at phones that aren't usually in this vicinity.
Yeah, and
that ping through. That's.
And it was an odd time because it was in the middle of the night when this happened. If she was indeed taken, which again is still a question. They don't know for sure if she was taken. They're still trying to investigate that. They do believe that's what is the most likely. But you're also going like, well, why would somebody take an 84-year-old woman? If it's not for ransom.
Right.
Why would they take her? And if it is for ransom, where's the ransom note? Anyway, it's a very interesting thing. We now have more information on the neighborhood, how secluded it is, how dark it is. Because that's one thing we were talking about yesterday. It's like, well, how do you get past 1,000 doorbell cameras? As it turns out, the neighborhood she lives in is a very, very quiet. Each house sits on like an acre. It's like a very private area. But we're going to talk to an investigator at 2 o'clock. And hopefully have some more information. And Spike, you're just seeing this on TMZ. What did you just see on TMZ?
Well, it's funny because I had this thought last night, and I didn't want to bring it to the air because that's the kind of thing I don't want to be irresponsible.
You don't want to speculate too wildly,
right? But when I see TMZ, who doesn't mind, they're in the speculate business.
Yeah.
Savannah Guthrie's brother-in-law linked to possible suspect role in mom's kidnapping.
Well, that's okay. So I was listening. All right, we weren't planning on talking about all this, but we'll just do this for a half second. I was listening to this former FBI profiler this morning, and he was describing how incredibly rare abduction cases are in the United States. It's far more common in other countries, like you go to places like Colombia or Brazil, places like that.
Executives, yeah, you bet, all the time.
Distant relations of professional football players are high targets in other countries because they end up moving to they'll go and play in the Premier League or they'll play in in Germany in Bundesliga or something. Right. They're making all this money, but their family is still living in the area where they grew up, becoming soccer pros, and so they will be targeted and they will get a letter at wherever and say hey, we have your family. So this is fairly common in other parts of the world, but in America, it's very, very, very uncommon.
Right.
And this guy was talking about how what the steps are to try to identify who these people might be. And the very first place you always start is you start interviewing all family members, because somebody had to know. The odds that she was just taken randomly because she's an 84-year-old woman and not because she's connected to Savannah Guthrie are, you would think that would be like slim to nil, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in my head, I'm not an investigator, but I would think it would have to be related to the fame that her daughter has.
Sure.
And the money that she might have access to.
That's a natural assumption to make, sure.
So then you have to think about, like, well, who has access to this woman's house? Is it somebody who was paid to be there? Did somebody drop a package off? Did somebody come in? You know, she's an 84-year-old woman who does need help moving around. She's all there mentally, but she can't do a whole lot on her own. So she has to have people. So that means you might have people coming in and out of the house for various services.
Right.
And do those people see a picture on the wall of Savannah Guthrie and go like, oh, wow, this woman who lives in a really secluded neighborhood by herself has a really famous rich daughter, and think, well, maybe this is a path to easy money. Like, you just don't, like, and that's what the investigator was saying, the FBI guy, former FBI guy.
Yeah.
He was saying the difficult part is you have to interview everybody who has been to that house in the last month, and then every person that they know.
Right. You not believe I dropped a package off to yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They find out somebody drops a package off from Amazon 2 weeks ago, and maybe had a short conversation with her, or maybe not. Maybe
wow,
just
you got a lot
in
of
the window.
pictures. You a big fan of Today's Show? Well, that's my daughter.
So they talk to that person, and then that person, they say, well, who have you talked about, to?
Right.
And then we talk to every. That would be, how do you cover that much time and space? I mean, how do you cover that many people?
That's the man hours, the legwork of investigative police work.
And you have an 84-year-old woman who she has health issues, and she needs her medication. They said, if she doesn't get her medication, she's in like dire trouble. The whole thing is, I mean, it's a ticking clock, and it's really fascinating. And obviously, everybody's praying that she's found and that she's alive. I will play this quick clip real fast. This is the sheriff down there in it's just Pima County. Is that where it's at?
Pima County.
Pima County. It's a sheriff, and he says he believes that she's still alive.
We have nothing else to go on but the belief that she is here. She's present. She's alive, and we want to save her.
I saw a post from Savannah Guthrie about this. She hasn't spoken about it, but I saw a post about it basically saying, like, please pray.
Yeah.
We want to find my mom. We believe that she can be found. We trust in God to find my mom. Yeah. So if you do pray, pray that she's found. All right, let's get into some other stuff here. We'll get into that in just about, 45 minutes or so with that investigator. I have been harping on WSDOT a lot lately because I've been stuck in traffic.
Yeah, it's understandable.
And
you're speaking for a lot of people out there right now.
So I'm happy to highlight when they do things that I don't agree with, but I'm also happy to highlight when they do something really cool.
Sure, that's fair.
So there's a story that they posted about. WSDOT posted this. Was this just yesterday they posted this? I think so.
Yes. Cool. It was on the X, I think it was Q13's or Fox 13's X page was where I saw it.
Okay, yeah. I'm on the WSDOT page here, and they said, on Friday, our crew found hundreds of family photographs from the 1980s and 90s on US 97 Blewett Pass. They were able to find somebody from the pictures on Facebook and connect with her. We learned that the owner's storage unit had been broken into and that the photos had been dumped during the getaway. While the owner now lives out of state and will be reunited with her dear memories, our crews took care to pick up each and every photo and lay them out to dry. And they said, hey, as the state's transportation agency, we're all about keeping people connected, and sometimes that means like this. If you guys are watching online, if you're on YouTube, if you're on the KIRO Radio app watching us, this is a picture on Blewett Pass. All these photos.
There's
you see all these?
Literally hundreds and hundreds of photographs and they're on the shoulder of the road.
Yeah. And somebody just tossed those out right when they were trying to make their getaway?
Or a box blew off of the back of a pickup truck. Someone doesn't know how they got on the side of the road, but WSDOT took the time to collect these up, do the research to find out where they were from, who they belonged to, and are reuniting these memories, these treasured memories.
Very cool.
That's unbelievably cool.
Yeah.
And WSDOT, you can often be a chucklehead, but this is a super nice, responsible community thing to do.
And I would say this about WSDOT. The people at WSDOT, I like the people who work there. Mm-hmm. It's the people who are leading WSDOT, making the decisions, the higher-ups, that I disagree with the decisions they're making on the express lanes right now. So that's the highlight. It's like anytime we criticize the Washington State ferry system, when any boat is down or when they have, for whatever reason, the boats are not running, delays and all these things, or we're trying to buy new boats with unproven technology, yada, yada. That's to speak nothing of the person working on these boats, who every experience I've ever had going on a ferry is always amazing, and it's always fun. And
of Great crew.
The people who
Yep,
work there,
yep.
I love.
Yep.
It's the people who are in charge that have little to no connection to the day-to-day operations of a ferry boat. I'm talking about the people like
No, I hear you.
Bob Ferguson,
Well,
who runs the state.
Well, or I don't know.
Jay Inslee.
I'm thinking about Julie. Was it Marshall?
Julie Meredith.
Julie Meredith. I mean, God, I offered to let her stay with me and ride with me to work.
Nice.
I have a guest room with its own private bathroom. The offer still stands.
Sweet.
Come ride with me for a week. Spend a week with me in that traffic. And tell me it's not worth considering.
But you will be taking the HOV lane.
Okay, I have an ulterior motive.
There it is.
I get to use that HOV from my exit in Edmonds down to Northgate.
But you will be in back-to-back, like bumper-to-bumper traffic.
From
as soon
Northgate
as you get
South.
Northgate
You
South.
betcha. When the 6 become 2.
Absolutely.
Or 3, probably 3.
Yeah. Anyway, we just want to highlight the WashDOT story.
Laura's so tired of me crying about this.
Good job, WashDOT.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Good for you.
You're the best.
All right. Did you see this Eddie Bauer story?
Oh, it's been all over.
Eddie Bauer's closing down.
Yeah, but they're closing down
all the time. They're physical stores.
The retail, the brick and mortars. They're going away.
So is this just following in the long line of other brands that have done something similar?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you look at the practicality of keeping a brick and mortar store open, stocked, staffed, and then just moving all of your retail to the social media or the internet to digital retail.
Sure.
It's sign of the times, man.
This is Seattle Times had this story. They have some of the details. They said Eddie Bauer store operator is expected to file for bankruptcy, shutter its locations throughout North America. They apparently have still 200 stores around the U.S., 11 in Washington, and they say they're going to shut those down, and basically they're just going to focus on their they're owned by authentic brands, and they say they're going to focus on their strong online footprint.
Sure. Yeah, they're going to continue to make the product, which is a quality product.
Sure.
And they're still going to be available to us, and Amazon will bring it to our house. Thank you very much.
Deliver right there.
But they're not going to have any more, because they were very high-end retail stores, too. I mean, these were nice. How many stores around the country?
200.
200 stores around the country?
200 are closing down,
11 in Seattle.
I'm sure at one time there's way more than that.
I wonder what the apex was for Eddie Bauer
Can you look that up, Laura? What was the most Eddie Bauer stores they ever had? I grew up in Snohomish, and there was a little store in Snohomish, not an Eddie Bauer, but it's similar. JCPenney. Do you remember JCPenney?
Of course.
So JCPenney's actually still around. I thought they went out of business, but they just filed for bankruptcy in 2020.
Right. They kept their stores open in markets where they still had a viable.
And they came out of that in some sense. Do you have an answer?
At their peak, Eddie Bauer had over 500 stores worldwide.
Worldwide.
I mean, I
they
still
were
remember
the standard.
they had one at University Village, which closed down years ago.
Sure.
Yeah. And they used to be in that bigger footprint that is now the Victoria's Secret. And then they downsized to a smaller one. I mean, the writing's been on the wall. But
isn't it ironic though that Eddie Bauer became a Victoria's Secret? I mean, the complete
one store where you're literally like covering
as many layers as I can put on. Yes,
it makes sense.
Outer layers to inner layers.
Yes, I guess it's the evolution of society itself.
Do you
it's
know?
A metaphor.
Do you know that
de-evolution?
This was kind of interesting. Do you know Eddie Bauer? Do you know who started Eddie Bauer?
Eddie Bauer did. I know this. I moved here.
Question.
I often trip up on these, but this one was thanks for the softball. I appreciate
Do you know who
this.
started JCPenney? Similar question.
Jean-Claude Penny. I don't know. Pinier, but if you pronounce it correctly.
You got it, basically.
This
Guess who started Target? Just kidding. John Target.
Robin Hood. Now, Eddie Bauer, do you know this? Do you know what his real claim to fame is?
Let's do an Eddie Bauer off. Go ahead.
Sure. What creation of his?
I do know because I did some research.
This is it.
Yeah.
I heard a news story from our own KIRO newsroom.
Really?
He invented the Marty McFly.
Huh?
The down-filled vest, the puffy down-filled jacket.
Yeah.
That's his creation.
The whole parka.
The
goose down thing.
But the puffy goose down-filled sectioned off. That's him. He invented that technology.
I have
lightweight, super insulating.
I wear this occasionally, but I have an Eddie Bauer, lightweight, goose down, Marty McFly looking vest.
Exactly.
That I got from my grandpa. He wore it back in the 80s. And then he passed away, and then I got it.
What an heirloom. What a beautiful thing to have.
I love it.
And you know what? They made them to last.
Oh, yeah, they last a long time.
You don't get to be the touchstone for outerwear across the world.
I didn't realize this, but he was like an outdoorsman.
Sure.
Climber, fisherman.
Yep.
Just
a product of the great Northwest.
Totally. He was born on Orcas Island. He was the son of German-Russian immigrants, and he was, according to this story, he invented the goose down insulated jacket.
Exactly.
Called the Skyliner in 1936, and he patented it in 1940.
Right. Lightweight, efficient.
His claim to fame.
Yes.
And
Changed
then,
the way because used to be you wearing wool, right? Heavy wool.
Yeah.
But this is no lightweight.
And he says there was a
insulated,
fishing trip that he took in 1935 where he got wet fishing, and he was wearing wool, which gets very cold.
Very heavy.
Very heavy.
Very wet.
And so he was inspired by,
A
goose. He saw a goose and he goes,
he said, how are they so warm?
He saw a goose sitting on the lake and he looked at the goose. He says, what in the heck?
Why aren't you shaking?
And then he went,
I get this.
Light bulb went off. And he goes, I'm going to put that goose in my jacket.
And eat.
To warm myself up.
Right. He covered himself. He plucked the goose and he said, I'm cold. If I put these feathers in it, they started sticking to his wet wool jacket.
There you go.
Story goes.
Yeah. It was actually, so he apparently had heard stories about Russian soldiers because Russia's very cold.
Yes.
And they're near Finland. It's also a very cold place. And they use these types of down in their
insulation.
Insulation. And he's like, I could do that. And so he did that.
Beautiful.
And then he sold the idea to the Army and they started doing, they started using it for jumpsuits for pilots and stuff.
Well, to your first question, it's not because they're not making a great product. It's not because people don't still want these products. It's
just
because
the way that people purchase things are different.
Exactly. It's the evolution of retail.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. And they're evolving. But the jacket's not. That's a classic. Yeah. You don't change a classic.
Still find it, and now we'll bring it to your house.
We got a lot more coming up. Jason Ransky's going to join us next. We're going to talk some taxes, which is just like the sexiest thing somebody can do. So
we're talking college sports too, right? Going to two worlds
college
collide
sports
here.
And taxes.
Yeah, yes.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Stick around. We're going to be right back.
Since the beginning, 50 years ago, KIRO has been the only place where the 12s have listened to the Seahawks.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks. Steve Rabel made the catch.
And Sunday, the tradition continues.
The Seahawks are going back to the Super Bowl.
When Steve Rabel and Dave Wyman bring you the call of Super Bowl 60 between the Seahawks and the Patriots. And like every other Seahawks game, the only place you'll hear it is KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the roads you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included in every tire we sell. It's more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's all about you getting more from less. Stop by or book an appointment at leschwab.com.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. Looking for a big selection of big trees? Visit Big Trees in Snohomish or BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and $250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer. Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times. Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants? These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Right now, get a free furnace with the purchase of a premium heat pump and air cleaning package at CM Heating. Start today with an always free estimate. There's no beating CM Heating for heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical. Go to cmheating.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Seattle's police chief is asking for the public's help after 3 young people were shot and killed in 48 hours. KIRO News Radio's Amanda Factor has more.
Chief Sean Barnes says detectives are working all 3 cases now, and he's urging anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers.
It could be the missing piece to a very, very big puzzle.
On the G and Ursula show, Barnes also had a message for gun owners.
Do not leave your weapons in your car. Last year, we had 206 firearms stolen from motor vehicles.
He says those weapons often end up in the hands of young people. He's also calling for the return of school resource officers to Seattle campuses. The chief made the comments while talking about a nearly 20% drop in overall crime last year. Amanda Factor, KIRO News Radio.
2 teenagers killed near Rainier Beach High School. Another young person was killed in Pioneer Square's sinking ship parking garage. A homicide investigation is underway in Tacoma. A person was found with gunshot wounds near South 11th and South I Street just before 5 a.m. The victim died at the hospital. Officer Shelby Boyd says another person was found dead just a block away on Sunday.
We're unsure if they're related. That's part of the information that detectives will try and seek.
At this point, police have not released any suspect information. Washington State is suing several popular casino-style phone apps. Attorney General Nick Brown says companies behind apps like Caesars Casino Slots, World Series of Poker, and Bingo Blitz have pulled in hundreds of millions of dollars from Washington users without the required licenses. The complaint also raises concerns about child-friendly graphics and characters, including cartoon animals used to promote gambling. The Attorney General's office is asking a judge to shut down the apps in Washington and force the companies to pay back the money. IKEA is bringing a new kind of store to the east side. The furniture giant opens a small format location at Redmond Town Center next Wednesday. But according to the Puget Sound Business Journal, this isn't your typical IKEA experience. No winding showroom pass, no cafeteria meatballs, and nothing you can take home the same day. At just 2,700 square feet, that is. It's designed for one-on-one consultations where you plan projects, pick out products, and arrange delivery. It's IKEA's second Seattle area location, joining the massive Renton warehouse. Well, a Marvel superhero will introduce your football heroes at Super Bowl 60.
What's up,
Seattle's own Chris Pratt, who often raises the 12th man flag, will do the honors for the Seahawks. And even though he's from New Jersey and not Boston, John Bon Jovi will introduce the New England Patriots. And now let's head over to the KIRO News Radio traffic desk where Bon Jovi's biggest fan sits, Lori.
You bet. A bit of a jam up on I-90 both directions at 405. Bellevue to Issaquah takes 9 minutes. 520 slowing as you head eastbound approaching Montlake. Linwood to Seattle will take you 16 minutes. And Everett to Bellevue now a 26-minute drive. If you're heading from Seattle to Tacoma, just a half hour. And US 2, I'm seeing a pretty big slowdown both directions as you approach 522. I'm Lori, KIRO, real-time prayer. Living on a prayer.
I like it. Yeah, see, you are Bon Jovi's biggest fan. Your weather update, warm temperatures for this time of year, near 60 today and tomorrow. We should get a nice dose of sun this afternoon. We're working on it. Clouds are thinning out, and we're at 57 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's been a few days since we've had this guy. I'm trying to think the last time, Jason, you came on. Jason Rance from Seattle Red 770. Jason Rance Show joins us now.
I assumed I was finally manned. I was just waiting.
It's been a couple weeks. It's been a couple weeks.
It has
we're
unacceptable. Which is odd
you
because it feels like someone's on my show every single Friday.
Every Friday I'm on your show, and we chit and we chat. And we talk about Friday stuff. Yeah.
So let's make it more often.
Let's make it more often. Absolutely.
Seriously.
Well, when I ask you to come on, you're like,
us.
nah, I'm busy. I'm doing stuff.
Well, I am busy.
All right. Well, he had time for us today, which is nice.
It's a slow day for Mr. Rance, so here he is.
Kind of.
Beautiful.
I only have 3 meetings today.
Jason, here's what I want to talk about. You have an article. People can read this right now over at seattlered.com. There is a new bill out. This is Senate Bill 6346. This is the millionaire's tax, and this specifically would target high-paid athletes in our state.
Yeah.
Including college athletes.
It's so absurd.
Explain this to us.
The idea, by the way, that we're calling it even a millionaire's tax is absurd because we're talking about it from a household income standpoint. We're not talking about just a single earner who makes more than $1 million. It's a household.
So two people who are married who make $500,000.
Yeah, they would qualify for this. Now, in addition to it, a couple weeks ago, Charlie Harger wrote the piece about the jock tax that would apply to professional athletes. So essentially, you're coming into town, they're pretending that you're somehow making money because Washington exists and thus you owe part of the income tax. They're doing the exact same thing at a lower level with college athletes who are taking advantage of the NIL, the deals that they've been able to acknowledge at the collegiate level. They're also subject to a tax as this is currently written, which, again, y'all said you wanted this because it was an equity argument to support college students. It's wrong that people are taking advantage of them at the university level. And it appears
the NIL.
Yeah, it appears now they just wanted to get college students access so they can get money from them.
Money.
This is horrible. How could you do this to these college kids?
So let me ask something, because when we brought this up originally about the taxing, not the state income tax, the jock tax in general. Athletes pay. Washington's one of only 7 states that don't charge visiting athletes a tax for the money earned in that state. All other states do this. When an athlete plays, they'll be taxed in whatever state they play in. Washington's missing out on that tax revenue. Plus, that money that is taxed would be taxed in Washington. If it's not taxed here, that income will be taxed in their home state. They're not
where they actually made the money.
Well, they actually make the money here as well. I mean, my point being, if they make $1 million, that $1 million is taxed wherever they play. If we don't get it while they're playing here, their home state's going to get it anyway. If we're one of only 7 states that aren't charging this tax.
I would rather a home state get money that was generated and created there. Okay, I'm against this just as a matter of principle.
I'm with you there, but if we're one of 7 states who's not doing it and the other 43 are, how do we balance? That seems like we're a self-imposed disadvantage.
No, I disagree. I would argue that is how we stand out, just like not having an income tax is how we stand out to the crowd and say we are better to do business here. Right?
Wholeheartedly
this is
with
more,
you there.
to me, it's a bigger issue. It's a global issue.
We argued that yesterday when you're talking about a millionaire's tax with regard to athletes in general. One of the reasons that the Mariners, Seahawks, Kraken, someday NBA are able to get athletes, and UW, are able to get athletes to come and play here is because we have an advantage without a state income tax.
And that's how you get startups to come here.
And when you slap that on an athlete, it's going to be harder to get the best talent to come to the Great Northwest to play.
It's also
coming for our weather.
It's also good to highlight
this week they are,
because when Governor Ferguson was announcing this, and now he's playing coy and pretending
He's
like
lying.
he doesn't want.
He's
this,
100% lying.
He's acting.
let's
as
go
we
with
said
coy.
yesterday.
Let's go with coy.
I'm going with liar.
He's acting. He's acting like he's positioning himself so he's going to be the defender of your money. It's exactly what he's doing.
I can't back this as written. You wrote it.
Yeah.
This is your bill. This is your income tax.
And the idea that he had no idea what they were going to put in this thing
it's
before,
a total lie.
Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, he says things like, oh, these millionaires are not paying their fair share. We're going to take money and put it out of their pockets and put it into your pockets and things like that, which sound really nice. And he's saying millionaire in a way that kind of like, I think, undervalues how wonderful it is to have millionaires living in your community. They're doing good. They're not just squirreling away their money like a greedy... You're looking at me like I'm a crazy person. Do you know millionaires?
I know many millionaires.
Are they greedy people who are just squirreling away their money, or are they usually people who are, a lot of them, self-made, who have done amazing things in their community?
Both. But I mean, that's the thing. You can't speak in generalizations about this. There are times where millionaires hide their money, squirrel away their money, don't pay a fair share. I'm with you. And there are also moments where millionaires and billionaires do great benevolent work and enrich their communities by doing so.
Listen, we've had this conversation many times. The idea that they're just squirreling away their money as if that's immoral to hold on to your own money is something I completely disagree with. It's their money. They made their money. They're paying a ton in taxes already to be in Washington State. Anyway, that's beside the point.
I'm glad you're here.
But when he says things like this,
we're just going to gang up on you.
And he's vilifying people who have worked hard and make money. I wanted to highlight. That's why I wanted Jason to come in, and that's why I posted about this yesterday online. I want to highlight the face of this. You take somebody like Cal Raleigh, who makes, in 2029, when this would kick in, he's going to be taxed $2.2 million extra off of just his base salary. Now, he's going to make a lot more than that because he's got a lot of endorsement deals and things like that. So that number is probably going to be double. Why is it Cal Raleigh's responsibility to give an extra $5 million to Governor Ferguson because they can't manage their money correctly? I don't know anybody.
Don't even come out. If they were to come out and say, look, here are all the cuts we've made. Here's what we've looked at. And literally there's nothing else that can be done because of X, Y, and Z. We can at least have that conversation. They're obviously not doing that, and they're certainly not selling it that way. They're simply saying, "Oh, we got to commit to all this more." They never want to take any responsibility for putting us in the position that we are currently in. And it's not like they can blame Donald Trump for this. They can't blame Republicans for this. We've had no control in Washington State. The problems have existed as a direct result of decisions that have been made by Democrats.
Lack of federal cuts, federal funding.
Be specific. What specific cuts are we talking about right this moment? Because remember, this conversation didn't start today, right? This conversation, especially with income tax, Democrats have wanted to do this for years.
It's been voted on 12 times.
But this is not a direct result of federal funds being cut specifically to Washington State-funded programs. That's just not true. It isn't. I'm not suggesting that there have been no decreases in federal funding. I obviously don't believe that.
That's what I said.
No, but that's not why they're doing this.
But the income tax is
so
not...
How about this?
We're talking about why there's $7 billion underwater or $9 billion underwater.
You think that it's $9 billion cut from the federal... But that's my point is, so if they were to come back...
Some of it may very well be. Some of it may very well be, and that's what I'm saying. And you're saying that's not the case
because it's not the case. At least not to the extent that you're talking about, or at least not to the extent that they're using to try to pitch an income tax. That's just not true.
Okay.
I mean, we're clear. You would agree that we've expanded the role of government spending in what? Okay,
absolutely. It's like a golf bag. There are 23 clubs in that bag. Part of our deficit situation is irresponsible use of our resources.
Yeah.
Also, one of those clubs is a loss of federal funding to some degree of money that Washington was counting on.
That's a T. That's not a club-size thing. That's a T.
Just a T in your bag?
Honestly,
maybe
it's a ball marker worth of difference.
But let's assume that is a whatever the percentage is. Let's just say 5%. Okay, well then impose a percentage just to cover that. But they're not. They're going overboard, and they'll put a bunch of blame somehow on Trump for this, which all of a sudden we're in this deficit because of 1 year of President Trump in office. This is not true.
I don't think anybody's claiming it's all Trump's fault.
I think that they are going to
they're
start
not
claiming
rational.
more
They're
of
not
it.
rational people.
You said
Mature
We all agree.
people aren't
Let's
saying
end on
that.
an agreement. We all
Yeah.
agree. We all agree.
My party's populated by children. I think we can all agree on that.
Jason Rance, thank you for coming in. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. All right.
Oh, we didn't ask about the Muppets.
Oh, that's right.
why we
We'll get
really
to
wanted to bring
Muppets
you in.
next. We can talk about Muppets next?
Please, can we?
All right, we'll get to
the story of
Muppets
the
next.
day.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're 62 or older, lots of equity in your home, and you want to pull some cash out, but a refinance or HELOC, well, it means a bigger payment. And the cost of selling your home, it's insane. So what should you do? Hey, Brock Hewitt here for Tila Mortgage. You don't need to live at a lower standard than you deserve. You really got 3 options. Number 1, sell your home. 2, get a HELOC or refinance. Or 3, get a reverse mortgage. Tila has done the analysis and believes that a reverse mortgage is the most cost-effective way for seniors to get cash out of their homes without selling and having the option of no monthly mortgage payment. Too good to be true? No. Call today and let's compare. Tila, spelled Tila, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Give them a call today. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
John Curley here. As humans, we value things that last. Local businesses, long-term relationships, people who have been in the community for years. That's Madrona Financial and CPAs. For decades, they've been serving Washingtonians, and what makes them different? They combine taxes and investments under one roof. Most firms do one or the other, but not both. Taxes are often your biggest retirement expense, bigger than travel or healthcare. Yet most never get a clear look at how taxes and investments fit together. That's why Madrona offers the Madrona Analysis. It's an easy-to-understand review of your retirement picture, income, taxes, investments, all working together in one coordinated plan. Best of all, it's conversational. You'll talk with someone who explains it all in plain English. Discover hidden tax traps, see if your portfolio matches income needs, and learn steps to retire with confidence. Call 833-673-7373 for your complimentary Madrona Analysis. Madrona Financial and CPAs, local, trusted, and here to put the whole picture together.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with 0 investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
The first few steps that I took in the morning were pretty painful.
This is Carlos.
I mean, I had been told by multiple orthopedic surgeons that there was no alternative for me.
That wasn't what he wanted to hear. You see, Carlos is an active guy.
I played basketball, and for 3 to 4 days after, my knees would just be so swollen. And now I can play basketball, and there is no swelling. There is no pain in the knees.
No swelling, no pain, because Carlos went to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm just happy to be able to be out there. And then knowing that tomorrow I am not going to suffer for this.
What do you say to your friends and family who are in pain?
I say, I had horrible knee pain and stem cells really worked for me. You might want to go to Dr. Wagner, just get a consultation before you have surgery.
Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
If you're hurt in a car accident, call Harold Car Law Offices right away. They'll save you time and get you more money from insurance while you're able to focus on recovering. Visit carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call CAR.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the roads you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included in every tire we sell. It's more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's all about you getting more from less. Stop by or book an appointment at leschwab.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. There's a show airing tonight. I think this is it's a reboot. They've tried to make this a few different times, and they're trying again. Are you a fan of the Muppets, Spike?
Are you kidding me?
Were you
I was
raised on the Muppets?
on the Muppets. I'm a little old for Sesame Street. It came out when I was like an early teen, or I guess burgeoning on teenagers.
Sure.
But my kids were raised with the Muppets, and the Muppet Show on network television, the Sunday night maybe Sunday, was it maybe Saturday? I didn't have a life at that point. I was home on Saturday nights. I was watching Muppet Show every week with the guest stars. It was the best of television. It was a variety show.
That was like in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. 70s for me. Yeah.
And then they kind of went away. They had many different versions. Like when I was a kid growing up, I used to watch Muppet Babies, which was a cartoon.
Yeah,
do you remember Muppet Babies?
Sure, I remember. Yeah, my kids were into it. Yeah,
I loved it.
It was an animated series, as opposed to as a Muppet show.
Yeah,
a live puppet performance.
Yeah, it was different, but it was still great. I loved them. And then of course, all of the Muppet movies. I mean, the Muppet movies are what Jim Henson was able to do with those characters is like. That probably is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
It's so perfectly done. It's so wonderfully done. And there's all this, like all the, Muppets Take Manhattan.
They did great cinematic releases.
Great.
Absolutely great.
But they have kind of faltered a little bit on the TV show side of things. They were really popular in the variety show days. And then was it 2010? What year was it when they had the most recent, it couldn't have been 2010. I should have looked this up ahead of time. But they had a version where, like maybe 2014, they tried to do like a camera crew following around, almost like it almost looked like Modern Family-esque.
It's like
do you remember this?
And
it was like...
Was that good?
Well, no, it was not well received.
That's what I'm saying.
And anyway, but that didn't seem to work. And now they're doing another Muppet Show, which the Muppet Show, which is what they're calling it.
That was called The Muppets 2015, 2016. You're right, yes.
Yeah.
ABC tried this. It's a sitcom.
It came and went like that.
Because it was a horrible...
So this is tonight on ABC, on Disney, and Disney Plus will be available. And it's called The Muppet Show. It's debuting tonight. And I wonder if this is one of those things where a lot of times with these companies, they'll get into a contract where you have to produce product or you lose the product.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's a really famous, and I don't know that that's the case for this one. Here's a little bit of the trailer. I'll play this for you.
Doing the show again, Frog. Oh, that's right.
Oh my God, it's you.
You're my idol.
You're sweet.
Go on.
I grew up watching you. My parents grew up watching you. Their parents grew up watching you.
We are so excited to be back where it all started and then ended and then is maybe starting again depending on how tonight goes.
Is that Kermit?
Yeah. That's
boy. Yeah. That's a tough.
It's tough.
Why wouldn't you just have AI recreate his voice?
What a great question.
Because the original Kermit voice
was Henson.
As done by Henson,
Was
and
Jim
then
Henson.
also by his son.
Yeah.
After, which was still pretty good. Still a Henson.
Right.
And now this voice just doesn't, I don't know, this doesn't really do it for me.
Been burned before.
It's the Muppet Show, and it starts right now. Maybe we're a little rusty.
Isn't it wonderful being back in the theater and giving
Miss Piggy sounds pretty good.
the people what they truly want?
Right.
It's always been a dream of mine to be here.
Ooh. Got any other dreams?
It's time to get things started.
Sensational, inspirational,
We're still working out a few kinks.
Oh, that's all right. I love a kink.
Hola.
This is what we call a Muppet Show.
I can't believe they're doing the old show again.
I don't know. What do you think? You think it's going to be successful?
It's going to break my heart.
I don't want to dog on it too much.
I'm with you because a generation deserves the ability, the opportunity to see this and make their own, and pass their own judgment on it. And if it's good, it'll be great.
Is it the tone? Does it feel to you? It's tough to tell from a 1 minute trailer. I mean, you have to go and watch it. I'll be honest. I didn't like the kink joke
Right.
for Muppets.
Well, and that's the thing. Does that?
Who are you selling this to?
There's something about the Muppets. There was an innocence, even when they were telling adult jokes. They were jokes for adults. They weren't blue. They weren't eyebrow raising jokes.
I don't want to sound like a prude, but
is
you
this
make a kink
era?
joke, and I go like, I don't know. It's like,
Does this era? Will the Muppets work in what has become socially acceptable in this era? I watch Saturday Night Live, and the amount of jokes, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Just go,
jokes,
whoa.
Right? That's fine for Saturday Night Live at 11:30 on a weekend.
Yeah.
Even
but this is going to be like you go on
It's
to
the- it's
Disney
the
Plus,
Muppets.
and you're going to see a big Muppet face, and a kid's going to go, oh, hey, that's clearly meant for children, which is
Yes.
what Muppets originally were.
Yes.
And now they're making kink jokes, and I just have to ask, like, I don't know if your audience is, because if you're going for a nostalgia grown-up audience, I don't know that a nostalgia grown-up audience is going to tune in for something like this.
I don't think that I wouldn't be, and we're the target audience.
I probably wouldn't watch this if it weren't for me just checking in to see if it's going to be a colossal failure.
You could tell that Frank Oz is still around. I'm assuming that's who's doing the
That's not his
other work.
voice.
Frank Oz?
Frank Oz, it's not his voice. I just looked it up. It says that the Miss Piggy's primary voice and puppeteer is a guy named Eric Jacobson, who took over the role from Frank Oz in 2002.
Okay, wow. Well,
Yeah.
he's great.
He's got a
'Cause
great.
That sounds great.
He sounds pretty good.
I guess my problem is the guy doing Kermit. He's been a Sesame Street, a children's television workshop, whatever it is, since like 2000.
I think your Kermit's
before
better
that.
than his Kermit.
Thank you very much, there. I appreciate it. It's why do we
Hire
have a
this guy.
national search to find a good Kermit? Can we
Hire this
start there?
Kermit.
I wish. I'd still work here too, though. I wouldn't leave this job.
Before the show ends today, can you sing Rainbow Connection in Kermit's voice?
Of course.
All right.
I'd love to.
All right, we'll do that. That'll be his audition tape. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
A lot has changed in 50 years. The Seattle skyline, how we interact with one another, and a new way to hear the Seahawks.
Touchdown! Seahawks!
Download the KIRO Newsradio app, where you can listen to Steve Rabel and Dave Wyman call the Super Bowl for free.
That is music to the ears.
It's the Seahawks and Patriots in Super Bowl 60. Kickoff Sunday at 3:30 on the only station the Seahawks have called home for 50 years. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The Boat Show, the Boat Show, the Big Seattle Boat Show.
The Big Seattle Boat Show is happening now through February 7th. It's the best time to buy, with big selection, big discounts, and big fun for everyone. It's a big deal. Presented by Sundance Yachts and Port of Seattle. Make it a date Friday evenings with Boat Show After Dark, featuring unforgettable ambiance, music, food, beer, and wine. Details and discount tickets at seattleboatshow.com.
Well, the wet, chilly weather has certainly arrived. It's Mike Salk here, and if your attic and crawl space are well insulated, your home should be fine. Should feel cozy and warm without your furnace having to work overtime. But you'd be surprised to learn how many homes in Western Washington lack insulation in these spaces. It's why you call Crawl Pros. If you're feeling cold drafts or seeing that heating bill spike, now's a great time to learn if you got anything going on behind that crawl space or attic by calling Crawl Pros. They'll come out to your house just like they did to mine, do the corner-to-corner inspection. In my case, they found the problem, showed me the pictures, and then they got it all fixed. Now, if they do discover your home is under or improperly insulated, they'll show you all the utility rebates that are available to help you get the work done correctly. Like if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could get a rebate to cover up to 95% of the cost of the insulation job. If you're worried anything is going on in your crawl space or attic, including critters, water intrusion, mold, plumbing issues, anything, call Crawl Pros and schedule your free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. Their max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast!
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
4 more days until Super Bowl 60. The only station where you hear Steve Label call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Still no person of interest 4 days after the disappearance of the mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. Authorities are working closely with the Guthrie family and the FBI as they search for the missing 84-year-old. CBS's Andres Gutierrez is in Tucson, Arizona, with the latest on the investigation.
Sheriff Chris Nandos telling us that Nancy Guthrie did have dinner Saturday night at her daughter's house, Annie Guthrie's home, and that Annie's husband ended up driving her back to that house in the evening, and that is the last time that investigators say she was last seen.
700 immigration agents are being withdrawn from Minneapolis immediately, but CBS's Nicole Skanga says the immigration operation is not over.
700 federal agents is a large number, but the remaining 2,000 federal agents on the ground is a much bigger number. That is still a tremendous federal footprint, one that is larger than what we saw play out in Chicago, New York, and even Los Angeles.
On the operation, President Trump tells NBC News in an interview airing today that he, quote, learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough, unquote. Ryan Ruth, convicted of trying to assassinate President Trump on a Florida golf course in 2024, has been sentenced to life in prison. His lawyer plans to appeal. An FBI raid at the Fulton County, Georgia election hub last week prompts officials to file a court motion for the records to be returned. County Chairman Rob Pitts.
We don't know where they are. We don't know really who has them. We don't know what they're doing with them. Are they being tampered with? I can use my imagination, and I would certainly hope not, but we don't know.
The last nuclear treaty between the U.S. and Russia expires today. CBS's Linda Kenyon at the White House with what's next.
President Trump could decide to extend the treaty, allow it to expire, or offer a new treaty. When asked about it, a White House official would say only that the president will decide the path forward when it comes to nuclear arms control. Trump has repeatedly discussed the threat of nuclear weapons, as well as the need to include China in any nuclear talks.
Abbott Diabetes Care is recalling 2 types of freestyle glucose sensors that have been linked to deaths and hundreds of serious injuries. CBS's Allison Keyes.
Abbott Diabetes Care is recalling its Freestyle Libre 3 and Freestyle Libre 3 Plus glucose monitoring sensors, saying the devices are giving readings that are lower than actual blood glucose levels. The company says as of last month, 7 deaths and 860 serious injuries had been linked to the problem.
Stocks closed mixed on Wall Street, and Google parent Alphabet's quarterly profit beats forecasts. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to the official 48 Hours After Show post-mortem on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We hear from Bill Gates on his connection to Jeffrey Epstein, but first over to the KIRO Newsradio traffic desk where we check in with Lori.
And traffic is brought to you by Seattle Sports. We had a collision 405 southbound near 44th, taking up 2 left lanes, a motorcycle car accident. Right now, it's looking like maybe that's clearing over to the shoulder. It was looking like cars were down to just one. There it is, 1 lane getting through. So a tough go backing you up all the way to about 520. Bellevue to Issaquah, 2 minutes slow down. Bellevue to Everett, a half an hour drive. Seattle to Everett's going to take you 37 minutes. Heading to Federal Way from Seattle, 23 minutes, and Tacoma to Olympia, just a half an hour. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. I'm Lori, KIRO Real-Time Traffic.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
And good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Bill Gates says he was foolish to spend time with Jeffrey Epstein. He tells Australia's 9 News he met him in 2011 and he only had dinners with him, and says he never went to the island and never met any women there.
The more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
Gates' ex-wife Melinda told NPR's Wild Card podcast that seeing his name in the documents stirred up difficult memories.
But I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away, and I moved on.
Bill Gates' representatives have dismissed the allegations as false. A 75-year-old Seattle woman is recovering after a stranger attacked her last December. Prosecutors say Jeanette Markin was hit in the face with a piece of wood with a screw, causing serious fractures and permanent vision loss in her right eye. Her son told KIRO 7 she's now out of the hospital and staying strong.
You never expect something like this to happen. She's a warrior, she's strong, but this is not something that everyone can go through. Honestly, she was this close to being murdered completely.
Seattle police and paramedics arrived quickly, and witnesses helped officers arrest the suspect nearby. The Seattle Times has announced the passing of John Talton. He worked as the Times business columnist. He was also an author, writing 14 detective novels. Talton died late last month from organ failure related to a long history of spinal cord tumors. He was 69. Patty Jackson is now Tacoma's permanent police chief. The Tacoma News-Tribune reports the city council confirmed Tuesday with a unanimous vote. Jackson has been serving as interim chief since last March, when former chief Avery Moore resigned amid controversy. City leaders praised Jackson as a proactive leader who's worked to build trust with the community. She previously spent more than 35 years with the Pierce County Sheriff's Office. And WashDOT maintenance this week will bring closures and lane restrictions to several Seattle area highways. On State Route 99 near the downtown tunnel, crews are finishing landscaping work with lane and ramp closures scheduled throughout the week, including a full closure Friday night into Saturday morning. Further south on the Valley Freeway, State Route 167 will have nighttime lane closures and detours as crews repair guardrails and damaged pavement between Auburn and Puyallup. WashDOT advises drivers to watch for detours and reduced lanes, especially overnight, and to consider alternate routes. And now your weather update. Our warming trend continues for the next couple days. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine with highs near 60. Clouds build on Friday, and we have rain for our weekend forecast. 57 and partly sunny in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 2 hours down, one great hour left to go. All right, Spike, I'm very, very interested in this next story, as is everybody. Everybody's been following this really bizarre possible abduction. At least it's a missing persons case down in Arizona, in Pima County, Arizona. Nancy Guthrie, who is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, who was just about to be in Italy for the Olympics.
Right, they announced today she was going to skip her hosting.
Yeah,
for
obviously
NBC.
she can't be there right now because she and her family are, just doing everything they can to spread the word about her missing mother and hopefully wanting to get her back alive, obviously. So I've been reading all these details about this, and I've been trying to figure out, like, where do you even start an investigation like this? And so we reached out. We had this guy on the show with us a few months back. His name is Chuck Jordan. He's a bounty hunter. He's the president of the National Association of Fugitive Recovery Agents. He also has he's a CEO of a private intelligence agency. And so we said, hey, you know what? Let's get this guy on, and hopefully he can give us some insight into how do you even start the process when you don't have DNA evidence, when you don't have ring camera footage, at least that we know about yet. Where do you even start the process of trying to find who might be responsible for this? So let's welcome him onto the show right now. Chuck Jordan joins us. Thank you so much for coming on, Chuck.
Thanks for having me.
So, Chuck, you have been in the business of hunting for people, right? I mean, you're a bounty hunter by trade. You're the president of the National Association of Fugitive Recovery Agents. Also a private intelligence agency. You're the CEO of Actionable Intelligence Groups, LLC. Have you been following the story, I assume, and what do you think's going on here?
Yes, I have been following the story concerning Nancy Guthrie. And in an adult kidnapping case, there's typically one of three motives. So there's a personal revenge, financial, or political nexus. Now we're looking at an 84-year-old woman. It's unlikely that it's going to be a personal revenge, and it's not very likely that it's political. So I would narrow it down to a financial nexus. So if we're going to look at a financial nexus here, then we have to determine what type of actor we're dealing with. Is this someone? I know she lives in a remote area of the Catalina foothills. The Arizona desert. That's also an area where you might find a meth lab operation, or the people that are in that sort of business, those type of criminals.
True.
So if it's a local, say it's a local actor or a group, it may be more of a random situation where they found a nice house in a secluded area and they decided that it looked like a good target, and they may have watched it for a little bit and saw that it was an elderly woman that lived alone, that was a soft target. Elderly people, especially live in a nice house, probably have a lot of savings. So they may have targeted her for that reason. And because generally speaking, if it's going to be a home invasion robbery, they don't take the victim with them. So the fact that they took her with them tells me that their intention was to extract financial resources from her. Now, if it was, say, a more sophisticated group that targeted her because she's Savannah Guthrie's mother, and they thought that perhaps there, might be more of an opportunity to get a bigger ransom or something like that, that would be a more sophisticated group that would have done that. And that's a possibility. It's my understanding that there have been some ransom notes, but it hasn't been confirmed whether or not they're legitimate, or, it could have been, some person unrelated to the case that may have sent that in. That sort of thing happens. I would be leaning more towards the first theory, that it's a local group that just saw an elderly woman in a nice house and thought that she was a soft target. And if they took her with them, perhaps they took her checkbook and they could get her to, they can go to her bank and cash checks, or somehow, access her account, transfer money out of her account. And if she's with them, obviously she can't report the fraud and get her account shut down. And if that's the case, they might not even known that her daughter was a famous TV personality.
Wow. We're talking to Chuck Jordan. Chuck, the sheriff in Pima County he's at the head of a firestorm of attention. Is it harder to do the job of investigating this crime and finding this missing person with the entire world tuning in to watch and 1,000 cameras pointing at you?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. It certainly raises the stakes for the actors that are involved, and makes it, a much higher risk for them of getting caught because of the attention that the case is being given, which makes it more dangerous to the victim as well. At the same time, like President Trump has, committed federal resources, which means the FBI, has a carte blanche pretty much to utilize their resources. We're talking flock cameras, cell phone towers. They're going to pull out all the stops as far as whatever technology they can use to try to identify who was in the area, vehicles, cell phones, and narrow it down to the different people involved. So there is going to be a lot of resources dedicated to identifying who the actors are in this case. Hopefully, she can be returned home safely. Hopefully they don't panic and do anything foolish that would be harmful to her.
We're talking to Chuck Jordan. He's the president of the National Association of Fugitive Recovery Agents. I just saw just about an hour ago the Pima County Sheriff that Spike was referencing there. I think his name is it Chris Nanos?
Yes.
He told the New York Times that he still has hope that they find her alive. Now it's been 4 days since she was taken. The initial message was she needs to be found within 24 hours because she has some medications that she may need for her health. When somebody's taken like this, again, you said it's extremely rare, but when somebody's taken like this, I would imagine that the longer they go without finding her, the less and less likely it is that she turns up alive. Is that a likely hope at this point? Obviously we all want it to still be the case, but
right.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think we have to go under the assumption that she is still alive unless we have some type of solid evidence to indicate otherwise. If it's some more sophisticated actors that are trying to extract a large ransom, the chances of her being alive are a lot higher because they're going to need to provide proof of life at some point.
Sure.
If it's locals, local criminals that are just opportunistic and targeted an elderly woman in a nice house, then of course they don't want to witness. So it's a higher probability that something nefarious has been done there. Yes,
there was some blood found at the scene, which I believe they said is DNA tied back to Nancy. The timing of all this is so crazy too, because they say that her pacemaker, which was syncing up to her Apple Watch, and her Apple Watch was apparently left behind. So that kind of gives them some idea of when they suspect that she was no longer in the range of the Apple Watch. Again, that wouldn't mean that her heart wasn't beating. It just means that she's no longer in the range. So it does give them some idea about when she was likely taken out of the house or when she left the house. We keep saying taken too. Is there any possibility, in your opinion, that something happened where she left the house on her own, or do you think this is an abduction?
Well, from what I've read about the case, I know she's an 84-year-old woman, and there's always a thought that perhaps, a health issue, dementia or something could cause her to wander off. But from what I've read, she was very sharp. There was no indication of that whatsoever. And I don't see a woman of that age going out on a social call. Apparently she's a church lady.
Yeah.
In fact, they found out that she was missing when she didn't show up for church. So it's highly unlikely that she would have decided to just go out at that time, which makes me, it's higher probability that that there's something nefarious that happened, and there were people involved that went and took her against her will.
When we had you on last, Chuck, it was when the one of the transferring fugitives escaped from SeaTac, and we had you on and you gave us some expert insight into how these folks are often found. And what you told us then was it's often the people who know the suspect in that particular case. It's who do you know? It's somebody close to the crime itself. And now I'm reading today, and it's just through TMZ, it doesn't mean it's not credible, that the son-in-law is not a person of interest, but that the son-in-law, everybody close to Nancy Guthrie will be questioned with an open eye. And that's often the case with it's unseemly that a family member could be involved, but isn't it often that's the case? Somebody closest to the victim is involved with a missing person.
I also read that I believe it was the sheriff's office that said that they did not consider the son-in-law to be a suspect, which generally speaking, if they thought he might be a suspect, they wouldn't have used those specific words to rule him out.
Sure.
So I think it's unlikely. from what I've seen thus far, I don't believe it was anybody in the family that was involved. That wouldn't be where my focus would be if it was my investigation.
I was listening to a former FBI investigator, a profiler, and one of the things that he was saying was, especially in this area in Pima County, Arizona, in her neighborhood, it's just filled with elderly people, like older people. It's an older neighborhood. It's it's not a new neighborhood. It's well established. All the houses are spread out. They have about an acre apiece. It's very, very dark. But especially for somebody in her physical condition, again, mentally, like you said, she's very with it mentally, but physically she did have some challenges. There might be people who are coming in and out of the house all the time to provide various services. I mean, her husband died, I think, back in, what was it, 88?
Like 30 years ago, yeah.
Passed away. So, she's having to rely on people probably. And, obviously her daughter has a lot of money, and I don't know what her finances are, but I'm sure that she's getting help from people coming into the house. It could be a cleaner of the house. It could be somebody who's just dropping off a package. How long does it take to talk to all the people that could be involved? Like when you're searching for somebody, how much legwork goes into finding people who just have any connection, and then finding people that they've spoken to as well, so you can like spread out that circle?
Well, if this is local actors, which I tend to believe, I'm leaning in that direction. I doubt that it would be, somebody, like you said, a delivery driver or caregiver or something like that. I'm more, I'm leaning more towards, some opportunistic criminals from the area, because, anything more sophisticated or more planned probably wouldn't be this lady in particular. She has a famous daughter, but her daughter's not like an oil tycoon. She's not a billionaire. And kidnapping, at least in the United States, is really not a good business. And perhaps at one time when there was less technology and less risk of getting caught, it may have been a more attractive business for criminals. But kidnapping is really not something that sophisticated criminals, particularly in the United States, really do very often anymore.
That's actually good to hear that. There was a story of a ransom note, and whether or not that's valid or not, and investigators keeping it very close to the vest. When you have so many tips coming in, 1,000 tips, and it's a shame that some people just call in with bogus tips just to feel like they're involved in the situation. Does that make it harder to find it when you have a flood of information coming in?
It does. I mean, they kind of have to, drown out some of the background noise there. But if the ransom note came from the legitimate kidnappers, they would try to open up some line of communication, because they need to be able to communicate their demands and where the money needs to go in order for them to, to access that money, whether they're going to have them buy Bitcoin or something along those lines. But at the same time, they're going to have to provide some information to verify that they are actually the ones that have, this woman, in their custody, so to speak. So what's going to happen is the investigators are going to open up that line of communication, whether it's through some type of encrypted, communication where it can't be traced. That's what I would imagine the kidnappers would use if they were the least bit sophisticated. And they would ask her questions like, tell us something that we can tell the investigators that your family can verify that nobody else would be likely to know. That way we know it's not some lunatic from Boise, Idaho that just watched the news and decided to try to write a ransom.
Sure.
Something like that. So at the moment, I don't know, what the sheriff's office has. They haven't come out and said exactly what the ransom note says and whether they verified it or not. But I think at some point, if they verify that, hey, we have some type of confirmation that the people that gave us this note are actually the people that have the victim, they would probably make that known to the media at some point in time, just so that they can, narrow it down and everybody can stop speculating so much. But that hasn't happened yet. So that leads me to believe that perhaps they don't believe that these ransom notes are from the actual kidnappers.
It's interesting. It's interesting if the ones that they have are not real and no ransom note that's real has been sent yet. It does make me think that your idea about it being unrelated to Savannah Guthrie. When I first heard the story, I was like, well, there's just no chance that somebody would abduct an 84-year-old woman because, like you said, it's so rare. If it's not motivated by trying to get money out of the Savannah Guthrie family, which she's a news person, and I know she's not a billionaire, but I'm sure she's a many millionaire.
But she works for a media corporation. She has
a lot of money that she has access to. But if there's been no ransom note associated with that and they're not trying to get money, I do wonder if, Chuck, like you're saying, if somebody had just gone after her and said, hey, this could be an easy mark. She's an old woman. She lives by herself. We can get some money out of her. But then they wake up the next day and they find out that the person they abducted has one of the most recognizable, famous news anchor daughters in the country. I mean, that would kind of make sense to me why they have not popped their head up asking for anything. It's like you are trying not to be identified. Now it might be, is it possible they're just trying to figure out, like, how do we get out of this S-storm that we have stepped into? How do we release her in a way that we're still not going to be found? Like, what possibly is going on behind the scenes?
Well, I don't want to be insensitive to the family, but in that scenario that you described, which is, in my view, probably the likely scenario, is they don't release her because she's a witness at that point.
A liability for them, yeah.
It's anything's possible, of course, because we don't have all the facts right now. But if I was working that investigation, I would be leaning towards, it was more of a random, unrelated to Savannah. They targeted an elderly woman in a nice house, probably some local meth heads that are already known to the sheriff's office, law enforcement in the area for a variety of things. Targeted her and perhaps took her and thought they could somehow get her to transfer money out of her account, or she can force her to use it to buy Bitcoin, something like that. I guess, the investigators that are on the case will be looking to see if anybody is accessing her bank accounts or her investment accounts or, anything financial related to see whether or not they can trace that back to a source. And if that's the case, they may not be sharing that with us right now.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's fascinating. The investigation's ongoing. Obviously, all of our prayers are with the Guthrie family and hoping that she's recovered alive. But Chuck Jordan, president of the National Association of Fugitive Recovery Agents and CEO of Actionable Intelligence Group, we really appreciate your insight. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. Thanks again for having me.
All right. Man, just a crazy story.
It is.
I mean, he really kind of swayed me a little bit, the insight into if it was about Savannah Guthrie, why haven't they stepped up now?
And his deduction of what may lie ahead because of the likelihood that it's that is heartbreaking.
I hope that's not the case.
Me too.
All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We're going to be right back.
A lot has changed in 50 years. The Seattle skyline, how we interact with one another, and a new way to hear the Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Download the KIRO Newsradio app, where you can listen to Steve Rabel and Dave Wyman call the Super Bowl for free.
That is music to the ears.
It's the Seahawks and Patriots in Super Bowl 60. Kickoff Sunday at 3:30 on the only station the Seahawks have called home for 50 years. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
You know, it's frustrating. You work your tail off for 40 plus years. The government takes 30 or 40% in taxes. Then they turn right around and waste it. Americans are getting fed up, and that's why they're taking advantage of tax planning. Charlie Harger here. Tax planning could significantly reduce your taxes, not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. Learn how much you could save in taxes when you retire with free retirement tax savings analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 206-210-13 1350. Don't pay the government one more dime than you need to. You need to call the team at Boss Retirement Solutions. Call 206-210-1350. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
Adrian here from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Winter might seem like an odd time to replace your windows, but now is when you get the best deals. Our Leak Armor installation team will keep your home warm and dry while installing beautiful, new energy-efficient windows. You'll feel the difference right away. Quieter rooms, lower energy bills, and a more comfortable home.
Visit Lake Washington Windows and Doors at the home shows to get 20% off, plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Or go to lakewashingtonwindows.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Why is K2 Vision RLE a permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers? How is it that you'll never develop a cataract after K2 Vision RLE? And how is RLE different from LASIK?
Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. We'll answer those questions and others when you join us for our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Andy, what are some of the other questions you hear?
Well, how long is the procedure and recovery? Or who's a good candidate for RLE?
And we'll also answer, how much does RLE cost? Is there financing available? Does insurance pay for RLE?
Find out how K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers.
And cataracts too.
Right, no more cataracts.
K2 Vision's free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Space will be limited, so register now at k2visionrle.com.
Join us at our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Sign up at k2visionrle.com.
Do you like helping others? Become a Shiva volunteer. In Pierce County, join the hundreds of volunteers across Washington state who help over 90,000 people each year with their Medicare options and questions. You don't have to know Medicare. We'll teach you. And if you're bilingual, even better. For more information and how to apply, call Shiva at 1-800-562-6900 or go to insurance.wa.gov.
Sponsored by the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and aired by the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Three-time Grammy winner, MacArthur Fellow, a voice the Associated Press calls a marvel. Cecile McLaurin-Salvant brings jazz, blues, and fearless originality to Dimitro's Jazz Alley, February 12th through 15th. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
And good afternoon, I'm Nate Connors. With the Super Bowl just days away, Seahawks merchandise is becoming much harder to find. The company says Seahawks fans are buying jerseys at nearly 4 times last year's pace, creating widespread shortages. KIRO 7 spoke with Seahawks superfan Christine Raquel, who says she's frustrated after days of searching for her son's favorite jersey.
Braden is 13. He's in 8th grade. This is the only thing he's been talking about all year, that he's been wanting. K9, Kenneth Walker. I've been at the team store for 5 days in a row, and I've been coming to all these shops looking for it, and that particular jersey is so hard to find.
At local sports shops, employees say popular items are selling out almost immediately. Retailers advise fans to watch for restocks or expect higher prices on resale sites. An Alaskan man is going to prison for sexually assaulting a teenager on a flight from Anchorage to Seattle.
29-year-old Trayton C. Ballot was arrested on January 15th, 2025. Just over a year later, he's now been sentenced to 18 months in prison for abusive sexual contact on board an aircraft. During the flight, a 17-year-old girl woke up to find him rubbing her thigh. At Ballott's sentencing hearing, she said she was trapped in a small place where she could not defend herself, calling what he did predatory. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Renton police have a suspect in custody following a deadly shooting Tuesday night. Officers responded to a Mexican grocery store on Northeast 4th Street where one person was found dead from multiple gunshot wounds. According to KIRO 7, an argument inside the store turned physical before shots were fired.
At that point, we called in our canine, and Guardian 1 was available to us. So Guardian 1 flew the area. The canine did, unfortunately, an unsuccessful track.
Authorities are asking anyone with surveillance footage from the area to come forward. Well, how rich is King County? Seattle Times columnist Gene Balk looked at the latest census data and found 20 neighborhoods where the median household income tops $250,000 a year. 2 of those are in Seattle, Laurelhurst and Montlake, while the rest are on the east side. On the other end, 13 King County neighborhoods have a median income below $50,000. 7 are in the U District, where college students bring down those numbers. The other 4 are Pioneer Square, Chinatown International District, Bitter Lake, and Northgate. Pioneer Square came in lowest at around $35,000 a year. And now a look at your KIRO News Radio traffic. We head over to say hi to Lori.
Hello there. This traffic is brought to you by Seattle Sports. A collision southbound 405 at 44th, still blocking the roadway, slowing you down past that scene, backing you up to about 520. Bellevue to Everett right now, 28 minutes, and Seattle to Linwood, a 7-minute delay at 25 minutes. 31 minutes Seattle to Tacoma, and a half an hour Tacoma to Olympia. Mukilteo Ferry down to a 1-boat run. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. I'm Lori, KIRO Real-Time Traffic.
Thank you, Lori. Spring-like weather continues for the next couple days. Morning clouds, afternoon sun, and highs near 60 today and tomorrow. More clouds on Friday and rain over the weekend. We're mostly sunny and 59 in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. If you guys missed our conversation we just had with a professional, he's the president of the National Bounty Hunters. What's his title again? I have it here.
There's a more, street.
President of the National Association of Fugitive Recovery Agents. He also runs a private eye agency. He just joined us. His name is Chuck Jordan. He just joined us in the previous segment. The whole segment, we talked about that really bizarre, crazy missing person story in Arizona with Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother, who's been missing since early Sunday morning, it looks like.
Yes.
And there's all these details that they're trying to figure out. And it wasn't an abduction. Did she wander off?
Well, it's all so much speculation right now. That's the heartbreaking part. And
Tons
it's
of
day
it, yeah.
4.
So he just joined us and gave us some really great insights into how they might be looking for who's responsible, how you go about identifying those people. It was really fascinating. So go back and listen to the podcast if you haven't seen that yet. All right, let's get into let's lighten things up quite a bit here. Let's talk a little bit about some sports. We got the Super Bowl coming up, which obviously everybody's very excited about. This is Media Week, which means that they are just hanging out. Most famous Media Week interview I've ever seen was Marshawn's "I'm just here so I don't get fined."
Yeah. Because the players are required to be available to the media.
Got to be there
by league rules.
Yep, you got to be there, and with bells on. You saw a picture though of Sam Darnold, sitting with a reporter,
a reporter from a small media outlet, and he's a veteran. He's wheelchair bound, and this guy interviewed a lot of players down there at Media Day. I think it was on Monday. This story came out.
Mm-hmm.
What I loved about this story was that Sam Darnold, who's wonderfully accessible and is a great interview, because he's just a real guy. The story was that he decided to skip sitting down with ESPN, and he decided to skip sitting down with Fox Sports because this guy, this disabled reporter, asked him for some time. And Sam, there's a photo of Sam
literally sitting on the ground,
sitting on the floor with this gentleman that doesn't have use of his legs. I don't think he has legs. I couldn't really tell in the photograph. It was a smaller photograph I saw. But Sam's taken the time to give this guy access to the Super Bowl quarterback from the Seattle Seahawks.
Pretty neat.
It just spoke to who Sam Darnold is. We're getting all these stories about, Luke had a great piece about what do you not know about your Seahawk player? You think you know him, you see him every day on the field, blah, blah, blah. It's just a wonderful insight as to who Sam Darnold really is. How lucky we are that he's here.
Oh, my gosh. Could you believe we have him for at least 3 years?
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
hope more.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Speaking of getting to know a little bit more about Sam Darnold, here's a clip of him talking about what he loves to do outside of football, which you might be interested in.
Yeah, I love golf. I love playing golf. I love watching golf on YouTube. That's one thing. And then when we get an opportunity, me and my fiance to go out and have some good food. I love. I'm a little bit of a foodie, just like trying all these different spots in Seattle. So, but those are the main two things I would say: food and golf. Favorite course. I was able to play Cypress a couple of years ago, and that was pretty special.
So he likes food and golf.
Say that, Sam. Wait till somebody pays you to say you. Wait for the endorsement money, Sam.
I thought he was going to say what his favorite dinner course was.
Oh, dessert.
Yeah.
Lunch.
Yeah,
I'm a dessert guy.
hors d'oeuvres.
Right. Like a good
Breakfast.
salad.
I like breakfast. If I'm gonna eat out, I prefer breakfast.
Breakfast is the best meal to eat out. It really is.
Dinner, I don't care for dinner. I want to eat eggs. I want somebody else to make me eggs, and I want to eat sausage. And
Have you ever seen how many times these guys eat? By the way, have you ever seen some of the videos on when a team travels?
You got to eat a ton.
You got
it. Professional athlete.
They arrive they travel as a team, so they arrive to this buffet.
Oh.
Right, a big breakfast buffet
Living
with
the dream.
every possible food desire you have there. There's not like a fatted calf or a roasted pig or anything, but they've got
There might be.
They got full breakfast there for you, whether it's meat, eggs, omelets,
hash browns,
pastries, omelets, or waffles. They got it all. Or yogurt and fruit and juices, and there's a smoothie bar, and that's when you walk in. Then they give you food to walk on the airplane with.
Mm-hmm.
They serve you a full meal on the airplane. There's a snack course, which is your favorite course, Laura. You're spot on with this. They feed these guys 7 times a day.
You have to keep eating to keep.
Yeah.
You've seen professional football players when they retire, they get tiny.
Yeah,
they do the opposite of what everybody else does when they retire. They get small because you have to work. You just need to be so big in the NFL. Dave Wyman, who was in the NFL for 9 seasons, I think
so, yeah, out of Stanford, Seahawk, yeah.
9 seasons he's in the NFL, and he used to say that he was on my show one time when I was doing the night show, and he was telling me that after the games, he would eat a pizza. After the game.
He would have some pizza?
Well, after the game, he would sit there and he would force feed himself right before bed. He would force feed himself a whole pizza just so he didn't lose the calories at night. His body was burning it so quickly because you're just working so hard all the time.
That guy?
Dave Wyman.
He's a rail.
You look at Dave Wyman back in the day. I
used to interview him every week.
He looked like a giant.
Yeah, I had a one-on-one with him every week for a feature we did on KSW.
Did you really?
Yeah, Hawk and Roll.
When he was playing?
Yeah. I'd go out to Kirkland every week and sit down. And that was this little chucklehead and Doc Martens and long hair and flannel, and he would sit down with me and give me legitimate interviews. It was great.
Dave, just the best.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
My buddy Ed, Ed Cunningham? Of course you know Ed Cunningham.
Yeah, I know Ed.
Our friend Ed Cunningham was a Husky captain in '91 when they won a national championship, drafted by the Arizona Cardinals, and then played 1 year with the Seahawks before he retired.
Was an Oscar-winning film producer.
Oscar-winning film documentary producer. That's right, for Undefeated was the film about the high school football team in Florida. When he left the game, if you ever go to his house, he's got his NFL pants.
Oh, really?
Framed on the wall. Because Ed dropped a whole person.
That's right.
From his playing weight of near 300 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
He's down the 160s, 170s now.
That's insane.
And he's not a small guy, but he's just fit. He looks like a completely different guy because his face is now chiseled.
But you have
a movie star.
You have to be so big in the NFL. These guys are massive.
Yeah. And when Ed played 30 years ago, 25 years ago, today they're even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
They get bigger, faster, stronger. Boom. They work harder.
It's crazy.
Did you see, by the way, Sam Darnold's, they asked him about losing Clint Kubiak. It's kind of an assumption now, a foregone conclusion.
He's going to the Raiders.
That he's our offense coordinator, Clint Kubiak.
Likely going to the Raiders.
Yeah, he's a much sought after offensive talent to be the next head coach of, this year's 10 vacancies in the NFL for head coaching jobs. He's interviewed with the Raiders twice. No deal can be announced until after the Hawks are done with this playoff run.
Yeah, and that would be a plum job. They could fill that very quickly, and they could have made the announcement already.
The Raider job?
Because all the other teams are announcing who they're hiring.
Right, they're picking up guys.
But the Raiders are not announcing,
right.
So you have to wonder why.
It seems like a foregone conclusion. Well, they asked Sam Darnold. I don't know if we have any tape of that.
I have
but do you? Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Just the things that I learned when I was with Clint in 23, just schematically, and then getting to learn from him as a coach as well and as a person, just the grit he wakes up at insane hours. He gets to the facility at 4:30 in the morning, and he's there later than anyone. He's a grinder. He loves football, and he's very honest, and he's very forthcoming with his players. That I think a lot of myself and a lot of the guys really appreciate about him.
It's really interesting if they do end up hiring him. It sounds like they will. It's basically just the Raiders just looked at the Seahawks just lustily over the last few years. Just said, "It's anybody we can get from the Seahawks, we'll take. We just want them down here."
And Coach McDonald was saying that there may be some other staff members that get a chance to move up in the coaching echelons.
You get a huge promotion.
Yeah.
You get to go down. You get to live in Vegas, sunny weather.
They've got the number 1 pick, right? Mendoza from Indiana.
Oh, you think they'll pick him?
If you got an offensive mind like Clint Kubiak, why wouldn't you pick a kid who just won the Heisman Trophy? He's a pure pocket passer. But that's how NFL works, man. People poach your coaching staffs.
Who does not look like he would be tempted in Vegas.
You know what? You're right.
Which is something you want.
Vegas. Yeah. You don't want another Johnny Football, Manziel, or a what's the guy from the Bears, McMahon. The guy loves a party, loves the trouble. No, Mendoza could probably survive Vegas. He's immune.
He might, or he's the worst person to send there. You just don't know.
True.
All right. Well, that was fun talking about Seahawks stuff. It's a few days away now. It's just fun to.
It's the day before the day before the day,
guys.
We're there. It's the day before the day before the day.
The day before the day before the day. You heard it from Spike.
That's right.
All right, we got a lot more coming up. We got your text messages coming up next. Stick around. You can still get those in at the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line 888-973-5476. We'll be right back.
Every season is a little bit different here in Washington, but I'll tell you what, the amount of rain never seems to change in the winter, and we have sure gotten a ton of it this season. All that rain, all that water, it's all got to go somewhere. And if it makes its way into your crawl space, that's when it can create all sorts of problems, including real structural damage, which could really affect your home. But more importantly, for the health of your family, the water in that crawl space could create toxic mold, and that has serious health repercussions. Thankfully, we have Crawl Pros. They can come in and keep your crawl space dry, install a sump pump and drainage, and reroute that water back out and away from your home. They'll also take care of any mold that may have been created. Don't take the risk. It's too important. The best way to learn if you have any water is to ask Crawl Pros to visit your home and inspect your crawl space for free. Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to. So if you're worried about water damage, mold, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Remember that time we were driving through France and for some reason we didn't have GPS?
Oh, for some reason? That reason would be that you didn't plug your phone in because you didn't have a charger.
Yeah, because I let you borrow my phone so you could call your mother, and you're on the phone for like 30 minutes telling her where we are. But that aside, we didn't know where we were going. We did fight a little bit because we didn't know where we were going. I think that Longevity Medical Clinic is like the GPS for us. They tell us which turns to make. They tell us which directions to go, right?
They do. And now I feel like the two of us together have a clear path and we have more control over our own health care.
Right, exactly. So you don't have to get out of the car and try to find information somewhere. It's all right there. As you're aging, all the little sort of turns you have to make in order to be able to have lots of energy and to enjoy your life. So for as far as I'm concerned, Longevity Medical Clinic is our GPS. Do what Nick and I have done. Take a free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Esta canción que canto, amigos,
Experience the iconic Mexican music group Bronco at Muckleshoot Casino Resort, Saturday, February 28th at 8 p.m. They've sold more than 20 million albums and performed for audiences all over the world. Now Bronco is bringing their modern take on regional Mexican sound live to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Tickets are on sale now at muckleshootcasino.com.
Olympic Hot Tub is celebrating Seattle's championship football team and the big game day ahead with a massive blue and green savings blitz. Get champion-level wellness at huge savings. Score big on saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges. Hey, it's Ryan Roland-Smith. Let's make wellness and feeling terrific part of your everyday game plan. Don't let the clock run out. These winning deals end Sunday. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life. Go Seattle.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. TurboTax helps you get your biggest refund, and then Credit Karma helps you do more with it. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at Cars4Kids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's Cars with a K.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice. DayandNight.net. Save $1,700 when you have Day and Night match your current furnace with a qualifying AC or heat pump.
Your furnace is lonely all by itself, but it doesn't have to be. With our Matchmaker Special, we'll match your furnace with a perfect air conditioner or heat pump to keep your furnace company and your home comfy all year round.
Match your furnace to a qualifying cooling system and save $1,700. DayandNight.net.
All right, welcome back to the show. We got a bunch of text messages on the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line. Why don't we dive right in? Laura, go for it.
On the return of the Muppet Show, Joel in Big Lake says, I wasn't sure if I'd be home in time tonight, but I have the DVR set to record the Muppets. Also, I'm 50 years old, LOL.
Okay, so this is what I think. I do think they're going for an older audience, which is why they probably feel comfortable making some of those jokes that you and I did raise a brow out in the teaser. But we also did notice that the Kermit voice, we're not loving the Kermit voice. You don't have to sing the whole song. You can say anything you want, but I actually think your Kermit voice is much stronger.
Really sweet of you.
Can you read the next text as Kermit?
Sure, okay. Hello. Oh, sorry, I met Tom DeLuise and his son once. They were insanely jealous that they knew Kermit the Frog.
That was a text? That's what Rachel Kirkman said that.
Rachel said she met Tom DeLuise.
And his son. That's pretty sweet. I think that Kermit is better.
You're kind.
I think
if I worked on it if I warmed up, because you got to study the original. You got to mimic the original.
Yeah.
You can't give me Jim Henson. Then you mentioned use AI.
It's an homage to the great one.
Yeah, and again, I'm just an old guy. Get off my felt.
No, I think it's great. I think you nailed it. Jamestown and Eastlake says Muppet Babies. They make their dreams come true. Muppet Babies. They'll do the same for you. When your world looks kind of weird and you wish that you weren't there, close your eyes and make believe that you could be anywhere. That was the best show. I tried to show that to my kids.
Muppet Babies?
Yeah. And they loved it because it's a great show. Cartoons. Kids like cartoons still, believe it or not.
The Muppets are timeless.
Timeless.
On Jake and Spike's international weather app Perusals, 253 says, Hey Spike, 7 times to Ireland. That's awesome. What are truly your favorite top 3 towns?
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome.
What's your favorite town in Ireland?
Dublin's wonderful.
Yes.
The history is every corner has a better bar than the last one.
Dublin's great.
Dublin's Fire City. Dalkey is a little town south of Dublin.
Donkey?
Dalkey, Dalkey. It's not so because that's where Bono's house is, and I could take you directly to Bono's house.
I'm sure he'd love that.
Over in the Connemara, a place called Clifton, I loved, and Kilvana, which is also outside of Galway.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you remember the castle from Highlander?
Yes.
That's where that's at.
Really?
Yes. Been there.
Spike, you need to do Rick Steve style tours of Ireland.
I can't smoke that much weed.
Should do Rick Steve style.
I would love to.
They are remaking Highlander. Did you see that?
I did see that.
The team behind John Wick is remaking, which is perfect.
Yeah, well, if the last one wasn't badass enough cutting people's heads off with swords, have we got a show for you?
That's a good movie. It holds up. All right, let's see on the changes to the CCA that makes the money easier to spend. Nurse Laura in Tacoma says, I voted decades ago to legalize gambling in Washington State because they said that the profits or whatever were going to go to support the schools. And lo and behold, they changed all that and they use it for something else. I think Nurse Laura has brought up an interesting point. When they sell you on something, if they change it, they're no longer upholding their end of the bargain.
I agree completely.
So that should discourage them from doing that. They need to deliver on the promises that they make, and if they fail to do so, then our end of the bargain, which is that they're picking our pockets, I don't think we have to do that either.
If you're saying the CCA money, the tax is going to save the environment, and it's not going to that, then you can't have my money.
100%. Thank you, Nurse Laura. Good point.
Doug in Mount Vernon says, Limpy is buying air fresheners for the offices. I love the smell of freshly printed money in the morning. It smells like job security.
That's pretty good, Doug. I like that.
On timing your purchase of tickets just right. I forgot to put there. Maybe it was Scott and Orcus. I bought 5 $120 tickets to the nosebleeds to watch monster trucks at the Tacoma Dome. Looked on the ticket app while we were in our seats before the races even started, and seats right near the floor were $20 a piece.
Oh.
We were so high up with the tickets I bought, they should have come with air tanks.
Good Lord, that's a lot of money.
Luke was saying you look on the app and see what tickets haven't been sold and go sit in them. I once went to see the Police reunion, the band, at the Gorge. And my buddy and I had tickets up in the general admission on the field, whatever it is, and I said, Joe, there's 2 tickets in the second row. Let's get them. He said, why don't you buy the one? And I swear the guy came down and said, the other one's not going to get sold. It'll be empty. And I swear to you.
He came down?
He came down and sat next to me in the second row. We watched the whole, I paid, he didn't, the whole second row.
That is very funny. All right, finally, real quick here on the bankruptcy of Eddie Bauer. They're closing 200 stores and
11 in Washington.
They're not going out of business. They're just going to move to online.
Move it online.
Beth and Everett says, former Eddie Bauer fan here. Unfortunately, soon after the Authentic Brand Group bought Eddie Bauer, it was obvious the brand was doomed. The quality of their clothing went downhill fast. This includes products in their mountaineering gear line, First Ascent. I stopped buying First Ascent gear after one of their overly expensive jackets fell apart on me while I was slogging up a mountain. That's not a good review. Let's just say I was not a happy camper. Oh, it's a funny ending, though.
Thanks for the heads up.
Thank you, Beth. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. Super fun show. Go back and watch the podcast if you missed any part of it. You're not going to be sad that you did that. John Curley's coming up next, and we will see you back here tomorrow. All right. See you then.
This is what it's all about, right?
We are going to the Super Bowl!
The pure joy.
It's a great time to be alive for Seattle fans.
It's why we're 12s.
Super Bowl, baby, let's go!
And Sunday, when history is written in Super Bowl 60, isn't there only one voice you want to hear tell the story?
The one-hander, JSN!
Wherever you are on Sunday, listen to Steve Rabel call the Seahawks and Patriots in Super Bowl 60, live and free on the KIRO Newsradio app.
You know, it's frustrating. You work your tail off for 40 plus years. The government takes 30 or 40% in taxes. Then they turn right around and waste it. Americans are getting fed up, and that's why they're taking advantage of tax planning. Charlie Harger here. Tax planning could significantly reduce your taxes, not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. Learn how much you could save in taxes when you retire with free retirement tax savings analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 206-210-13 1350. Don't pay the government one more dime than you need to. You need to call the team at Boss Retirement Solutions. Call 206-210-1350. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
I had pain. I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5476. That's 888-973-KIRO.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
4 more days until Super Bowl 60. The only station where you hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. On the same day his borders are, Tom Homan announces the drawdown of 700 immigration personnel from Minnesota. President Trump tells NBC News that he believes his administration could have handled some things differently in its operations after federal agents shot and killed 2 U.S. citizens last month in Minneapolis.
Maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals.
CBS's Nicole Skanga in Minneapolis.
We sat down with the sheriff from Hennepin County, home to Minneapolis, as well as several local police chiefs who told us they were having conversations with Tom Homan and they were encouraged by a possible shift in tactics.
Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mother, Nancy, has been missing for 4 days. Authorities believe she has been abducted, and the sheriff says there is an apparent ransom note. CBS's Anna Schechter reports.
That clearly they didn't have a really strong lead right out of the gate. And
That makes it tough because every day that goes by, it gets tougher and tougher.
Nancy Guthrie is medication dependent. U.S. and Iranian officials are due this week to hold their first talks since the deadly crackdown on protesters in Iran. They were in jeopardy for a portion of today because of a dispute over the venue. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
The United States is prepared to meet with them. I think it was scheduled for Friday.
The talks will take place in the capital of Oman. A new study in the journal Science Advances finds that chronic exposure to wildfire smoke has contributed to tens of thousands of deaths in the U.S. each year. More from CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick.
The research found that from 2006 to 2020, wildfire smoke contributed to more than 24,000 deaths per year. Tiny particles are to blame. They lodge deep into the lungs and enter the bloodstream. Short term, they trigger coughing and itchy eyes, but longer term, they could health issues.
The man accused of shooting 2 National Guard members, killing one and critically injuring the other, has pleaded not guilty to 9 federal charges. CBS's Scott McFarlane is covering the case.
In a brief arraignment in Washington, D.C. federal court, Ramandula Lakhanwal has pleaded not guilty to 9 federal charges, and he's been ordered to stay in pretrial detention in his case. Lakhanwal is accused of the murder of 2 West Virginia National Guard members near the White House in November. Next court hearing expected in May.
Follow and listen to CBS News Roundup on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Melinda Gates speaks out over new Epstein files mention her former husband. More on that story. But first, here's Lori at the traffic desk.
Traffic is brought to you by Seattle Sports. South 5 at Mercer, we have a stall in the right lane. It looks like now they've cleared the collision in Renton, southbound 405 near 44th. It was car versus motorcycle. Looks like you're backed up still to about 520. Seattle to Everett is a 43-minute drive now and 33 minutes Bellevue to Everett. If your route takes you from Seattle to Federal Way, that's a 28-minute drive right now. And Tacoma to Olympia, a half hour. And the Mukilteo ferry boat, Mukilteo Clinton, is on a 1-boat run. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2. I'm Lori, KIRO Real-Time Traffic.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Melinda Gates is speaking out after newly released Epstein files included references to her ex-husband Bill Gates. In a clip from NPR's Wild Card podcast, she said seeing his name in the documents stirred up difficult memories.
But I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away, and I moved on.
Bill Gates tells Australia's 9 News he was foolish to spend time with Epstein, but never went to his island or met any women there. Crime in Seattle dropped to nearly 20% last year. Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes announced the numbers this week, saying homicides, shootings, burglaries, and car thefts all fell sharply. But the good news comes during a painful week. 3 young people were shot and killed in just 48 hours, and no arrests have been made.
Maybe there's someone out there that may have seen or heard something that could help us solve this.
Barnes says his detectives are making progress on all 3 cases. 2 teenagers died at a Rainier Valley bus stop. Another young person was killed in a shootout at the sinking ship parking garage in Pioneer Square. Police in Puyallup are investigating after a body was pulled from a lake at a local park. Officers were called to Bradley Lake Park Tuesday for what they're calling a death investigation. Authorities told KIRO 7 the victim may have been there for some time. The park was temporarily closed while officers investigated, but it has since reopened. Officials say there is no danger to the public. For one local photographer, the assignment doesn't get much bigger than this. Seahawks team photographer Rod Marr is in Santa Clara for the Super Bowl. Marr, who also used to work for the Seattle Times, told Jake and Spike he's never forgotten this piece of advice from his mentor.
A writer gets 17, 20 inches of type, to tell the story. He goes, you get one picture, you get 1,000th of a second. So find a way to always tell a story. And that stayed with me my entire career.
And he says he's always thinking about the background because that helps him tell the story. Now your weather update, warm temperatures for this time of year for the next couple days with highs around 60 and then rain coming up for the weekend. Right now we're at 59 and partly sunny in Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
Hi, you've reached the John Curley Show listener introduction line.
Better be good.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you enjoy the show.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, come on.
Justifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in,
right.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
All right. To a crappy start. Thank you, Brady.
Hey, you remember
time? What? Here we go. You ready?
Let's go. Hey.
What?
The thing says Jake and Spike. Come on, man.
Come on
My
now.
face is
Hey.
on there. That's not